Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the group alignment for Unleash Your Freedom. This is such a huge honor and such a blessing to be here with you guys and to do this with you guys. I am absolutely just. I was reading. Usually, when I do a group session, I ask these questions. What's your name? What's your birthday? What's going on? Tell me what's up. And when you guys gave me those things, I sincerely felt the love. I sincerely felt the trust, and I was honored that you guys would share the things that you shared with me. Usually I ask everyone to put it in the group chat so you guys all know what you're dealing with and everybody can kind of see it. And most of you guys privately messaged me. So I just wanted to let you know that wherever you're feeling the block, wherever you're feeling the limiting belief, we're going to work through it and we're going to get better. There is going to be some success. We're going to have a breakthrough. Right now, you've been operating at a level, and there's nothing wrong with the level you're operating at. This is life, okay? You get a name, you get a birthday, you have to go through life, you have to experience, this human condition. So we've been operating at the level that we've been operating at. And today, we're going to give you a new level to operate at. And that's going to be like, oh, okay, so we're going to challenge the status quo. We're challenging the vibration that you've been holding your entire life, the one that you know so well. So just in case anyone's feeling, I felt your anxieties. I felt the anxiety. So in case anyone else is feeling that, that certain elevator heartbeat or that feeling of, oh, could this really be it? Could this be the moment where, things are going to change for me? And I'd like to say absolutely yes. It could be a little painful. Okay, that's fine. We're all here to give each other hugs, but we're creating a web. There's a network of all of us from different places in the planet, and we're connecting inside of this call. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm locking the meeting so that no one accidentally joins us by accident. If someone needs to get in here and they're unable to, hopefully one of you guys is watching the messenger chat and you can message me and I'll quickly just pop them in. But we're creating a very private, super sacred, absolutely holy space that we need to be able to be in this together for, because I want to see you guys become super successful. I'm here for you guys. I've been here since the very beginning. Balaj and I have known each other since we were kids. And I was just like, I can't do this job stuff anymore. This sucks. And he's like, I'm like, Balaj, and then my attitude was, if you can't beat him, join him. And that's basically my strategy. I was like, screw this. I don't want to be fired anymore. I'm going to go join a business because obviously that's when I'll be successful. And I just failed in business at the same time. Like, it wasn't like you suddenly become better. You just, everything that you're dealing with just gets put in front of your face. So I was like, okay, screw this. I'm going to do this. And I was struggling. And then next thing you know, he's like, dude, you got to check out this numerology stuff. I'm like, I'm spiritual. Tell me more. And then I wanted to go into this information, got my numbers and my chart read, and I was like, what? This is nuts. This is crazy. And a letter changing your name, this is insane. You can't just like put a letter in your name and change it. And the answer that I got, which is the one that I give to people, I'm like, well, if everything that I've told you about yourself is this accurate or accurate to a T, does it not then suppose that a new vibration would also speak to a new power, a new value of you? So that's what we're doing here. We're going to very lovingly put some things together. We're going to sort of iron over a few of the things in your chart, the things that I've asked you for, the numbers that show up for you. We'll go into that in a minute. And then most importantly, we're going to get you game ready, like ready for the big show. And this is because you guys are talking about things like, I want to make $20,000 a month. I want to make 10 grand a month. I want to do, and we're talking about 5-figure incomes here, monthly incomes. This is like a 6-figure business and above. So I understand that we have to grow a little bit, and that's why we're here doing this together. So, through the screen and, through the connection, help me hold a very strong, super spiritual space, because we're all going to be doing this and going through this together. There's going to be some cool stuff that we point out to each other that I really am excited to share with you. And I'm just going to quickly just read in here. Noelle's almost 3 immediately after my sessions with me. Thank you for pointing that to me. But I will disclaim that you guys are the ones who are successful. I just get a chance to be this entertaining thing that reads the numbers for you, and I'm going to make it super loving, very personable. We're going to build a storytelling around this, and that's how We share our infinitism. Our infinity is shared through the art of storytelling, okay? And so we have to make sure that this is something that we want to really focus on, is that you guys are going to go somewhere. You're going places in your life. And I was just the flag girl at the end of the race, being like, you made it, you won, but you are the one running, you are the one racing, it's your car, it's your vehicle. I just got a chance to dress you up a little bit, and it's an honor and a blessing that you guys create this space for me, because with this investment that you guys have made, you guys feed my family, okay? Like, that's something that you guys help me pay my bills. Like, that's something that I take extraordinarily sacred. So of course I want to see you guys successful. Of course I want to see you guys in 6 months being like, Bobby, it's time for my group session. I want to do a group session for my team now. I've got people who are ready to go, and I want to make sure they get the same alignment, the same treatment, and this is what we're doing here today. So I'm in love with your team. This isn't the first group session I've done for your guys' organization. This is like the third one now, and we're also going to do another one next week for everyone who couldn't make it today. So this is like a really, really good family for me. And also, we're mostly in the same time zone, so this is kind of like a West Coast kind of feel. And we're also in the spiritual mind as well. So it's nice to have that. Okay, it's really, really blessed to have that. Let's get started. Okay, if there's any questions, you let me know. 11 participants, what's up? That's 9, 10, 11. There should be 12 because I think there's 2 on 1, but that doesn't matter. Let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's fine. 11 of you guys, and I'm just a fly on the wall here, okay? So I appreciate you guys so much for allowing me into this space. Let's get started and let's do this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to explain a couple things here so that we can all, I'm going to clean this up here. Just give me one quick take a second here. I'm going to take this and we're going to take this out. And here we go. So we've got a chart, a group of us. This is it, okay? And we're going to have a lot of fun today looking over this. This should take us, I hope it doesn't take us more than 3 hours, to be fair, okay? Some of us are literally at 2 in the morning right now. So in case this takes us a little while, I appreciate your patience. I will be here for you guys, absolutely. There's a couple of cool things I wanted to share here, though. Just gonna quickly, I'm gonna pick on Noelle because she's here, and it's fair that I can do that because she's got this with me here. So when I'm working with someone privately, okay, wrong Noelle. So let me do this here, and let's see if here we are. So when I'm working with someone, it gets we go quite comprehensive. Okay, so we look at your middle name, we look at your first name, your last name, your total name. We look at the version of it. We see a lot of these different numbers that are showing up. And Noelle and I are both we're life path 11s. Okay, so it's kind of like a spiritually big deal, no big deal. But to have you here, Noelle, really appreciate you to help me because you kind of, the smile on your face is almost like a knowing, like you already understand this. And so we basically got a chance to go through a very in-depth conversation about what it looks like when we go a session or a time together. When we go into like a group session, I'm taking a cross section of a couple of your different names. So whereas like Caroline has a middle name Lee, there's Suzanne, Karen, Leslie, Fordman, Sinclair, Aaron, and Jane. All of these different middle names of yours, they all hold vibration. They all hold vibration in the last name. They all hold vibration in the first name individually. So when I'm starting to talk about Caroline Lee Dewey, okay, and I take a look at this number, see now, like Matthew's gonna feel that vibration even though it doesn't show up inside of here. Or like Sarah's gonna feel, oh, that makes me feel like me when he's saying that about this so-and-so. And I don't see that number in my chart. It's because this is just you at a glance. When we go in and we start, cooking things out and we're like, ooh, what's this? And we start looking at different pieces of your chart, there are different emotions hiding. There's different pieces of you dwelling in there. I think I have this, I want to show you guys something that I have to make a point here. Where are we? Do I have my keynote up? I don't. Okay, so I'll pull it up. But the reason why, oh, here it is. So let's take a look at this. Okay, well then why doesn't it show me? Here we go. So when we take a look at a chart, there are different spaces for us to exist in. This is just a screenshot from one of my programs. This is the Wealth Alignment. It's a 3-hour comprehensive training and everything you need to know. And so there's different pieces of us that are locked up in different sections or chakras or energy centers because of certain levels of abuse as a kid, or getting into a fight at high school, or getting our heart broken, or getting our intelligence squashed on when we were kids and too smart for this, and my parents didn't like it. So there's different places where we just kind of like close up and clam up. And so when we're going to take a look at a chart together, and you see or feel that heart pump, that the elevated heartbeat that starts to show up when I start talking about someone else's emotion, because I'm talking about their situation, you guys are going to enjoy a little bit of healing yourselves. So this is why this is such a huge sacred space, is because you may feel lined up or aligned to something I'm going to say to one of these people, and it doesn't show up quite readily available for you. But because we're creating this network of spiritual energy between us, this is a healing space. This is a safe space. This is a space for us to actually grow and move past our limiting beliefs. And it's so much easier to deal with your limiting beliefs when I'm talking about somebody else. So it's like easier to do that. It's like we don't have to go through this ourselves. We're gonna see this and live vicariously through someone else's experience. So when everyone, and we're gonna go through this line by line. So when I work with one of you guys can unmute yourselves. We're gonna have a little bit of a dialogue, and everyone else gets a chance to learn from you, get trained by you, and basically grow because of you. So if you have got big stuff to deal with and it's probably not appropriate for the group session, I'll let you introduce it if it's fair. Otherwise, I remember what we were talking about privately. And I would also recommend that this does not replace a private session with me. However, on our private session, when you and I work together, I will be deducting the price you paid today. So I don't want to take more of your money. I want you guys to either have this and let it be enough, or take this cost and deduct it from what we're going to do together when we work together privately. Okay, so I would recommend that we do work together privately. I will give you guys discounts to do so. So stay with me until the end. For some of you guys, I get it. It's going to be late. So in case you can't, you'll have to catch it on the replay. But Noel says, I highly recommend. Heart emoji. So actually, that's more like a heart emoticon for any of us who remember the days before emojis. Okay, so cool. Let's take a quick little primer. And just to be fair, I'm just going to quickly pull this back up. I'm just going to double check here. Let's count this together. 1, 2. Okay, Noelle doesn't have a 3, and there's 4s in her chart. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 22. So quite readily, everyone has. Where am I? Everyone has all of the numbers. Okay, so quite readily inside of your chart, you will have 1 to 9. There will be pieces of you that express this at every single level. But let's talk about the numbers first. I know this is a little bit weird because there's so many different colors. There's 2 sets of colors in Legends here. Okay, so I was trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. And so there's 1 set of numbers. If you look at these ones here, that are all identified by these 6 colors. Either they work well, they work smart, it's a mastery vibration, it's a severe challenge, it needs alignment, or it just works too hard. Okay, so this is where we're going to take a look at these little colors at the bottom, those 6 ones there. Then there's another set of colors, E and B, okay, and this one's for me. This one is so that I know that when I see an 8, I know who else this applies to. When I see a 6, I know who else this applies to, in a very overarching sense of understanding. So just so you guys know, if you're trying to make sense of all this, the reason why I'm showing this to you is because these 2 columns are what we're about to talk about and express here. I just want to quickly give you a primer so that you understand what's on the palette and what colors we're going to be using. This is a language, and it's such a cool freaking language because it's part spiritual and part mathematical. So like nerds can get on this and spiritual guys can get on this, and it's super new age. And I really love the way that this was been able to map out the psyche of the human experience but definitely this is going to be a lot of fun. So let's talk about the first three numbers, 1, 2, and 3. These are junior numbers. And the 1 stands for leadership, the 2 stands for partnership, and the 3 stands for creativity. So when we see the 1, we're going to see that alpha, we're going to see the I am, we're going to see that confidence, independence. This is your leadership. This is your sense of I got to do what I got to do. I'm not going to be too worried about what other people think of me. And then there's the 2, which says partnership. Let's do this together and let's work together. And I want to be here with you. And everybody needs to win. And let's not fight. And I will be here to work with you, coach you, and mentor you. So the 2 stands strong for partnership, but then sacrifices the level of independence. So for any of us who are Life Path 11s or Life Path 2s, Jamie, Kayla, myself, Noel, we are consistently sacrificing ourselves for others because of the fact that that 2 is there. Like, that's just our sense of identity is linked into how other people see us. Then we have the 3s. There are no Life Path 3s in here. It's fine. How about Name Path 3s? No. There still are 3s in the group though. We have lots of them inside of the, like Jill is born in 65, also born in December. So those are 3s that show up, right? Jamie's born on the 30th. That's a 3 that shows up. So we have this, Caroline is born in the December. That's a 3 as well. So the 3 shows up for beauty, love, creativity, like an artist expression. I just want to enjoy myself. I want to feel good right now. So now we're starting to get into some of this because you guys wrote this to me, okay? When you guys are telling me this, I don't believe in myself. I doubt myself. I don't know if I can do this. And I don't know. And that's that 3. It's like I can't see beyond the now. And that's not a problem because it's an inspiring number for now. So you could probably keep everybody happy just by being there. But it might be giving you anxiety when you get to a higher level of value, when you want to, put your business together or put it in order or something. Like, it could show up as a bit of a problem inside of where it shows up. Then we have the 4. Now the 4, 5, and 6. I know I'm going over this a little bit quick, but we'll go over it in depth when we talk about how they connect. So when we look about 4, 5, and 6, now we start to get into some interesting concepts here. The 3 entered a conversation around money, around love. That's like the entry point into heart. So if I kind of put this right here to show everybody, love and wealth are measured by the numbers 4, 6, and 8, and 3, 6, and 9. So 3 was like the beginning of love, and we wanted to begin a love story. Then we get into the 4, and we want to begin a wealth story. We want to work for money here. So when we take a look at the 4, 5, and 6, now we're getting into the intermediate numbers here. Now we're getting into self-reflection, working alongside with others, growing up a little bit. This isn't no longer junior. Now this is like, going to school, going to college, going to career. So we have a value inside of here of the 4, analytical, logical, very technical. There's a healthy level of skepticism. So in case anyone's kind of like, all right, well, let's do this. And I don't know what I'm doing. This is weird. And like that 4 wants to kick in. I'm totally cool with that. I completely understand that. That 4 just makes things a little bit more. It's like, show me the money. Show me the results. Show me the data. I want to see the actual numbers, line by line detail. They're very analytical types. My wife is a Life Path 4, and I love the fact that she holds stability for me, like a really strong grounding foundation. Like Elizabeth is born in April. Okay, Magda's also born in April, so we see those vibrations showing up. Liz is born on the 22nd, so we see those vibrations showing up. It's a wonderful way of understanding that there is a structure and a stability, and this like, save me the BS. I want to know the real deal. Okay, so this is like, I got to know everything before I can do anything. That's a challenge because now time is money inside of the 4. And we're like, oh, if you want to work hard, that saying, if you want a job done right, and all the people with 4 are like, you do it yourself. If you want a job done right, you do it yourself. And that's like the long, hard, and slow way of making money is working hard. You have to work smart. That's like we want to get into the magnetic flowy of wealth, right? Like that's the bigger vision of this. So we do want to see us in the higher levels of numbers here, but let's keep going. So then the 5, poor 5s. You guys are fun. If you got a 5 in your chart, this is like challenge, okay? Because unless it shows up in green for Caroline, which actually is a good deal, the 5s fight. These are the warriors. Okay, so we had the leaders, the partners, the creative people. Then we had the farmers, the builders. then the 5 shows up for warrior. And this is a challenge because like it looks like the 4 is good, it's a great start. The 3 is okay. The 6 seems to get it going on. The 8 seems to get it going on. But then there's this like 7 and 5. They kind of get locked between the cracks here of like no wealth, no money. Instead, it's going to be I'm chasing my debt, or I'm feeling like I can't get ahead, or why am I always fighting myself? Why do I always get into arguments with other people? Other people are dumb. What the hell's wrong with them? And then on the other side, there's a feeling here of I want to fight for people. I want to stand up for others. I want to get things done. I want to do things for people. I want to save people. I'm a warrior, a fighter, a champion. And so that 5 can affect us in a really strong way. For me, it was a very challenging number to experience. I was like fighting myself to no end because the 7, we'll talk about in a minute, lack of communication. So here I am with the number that didn't quite work, and it basically just beat myself up. I had a secret addiction to drugs, I had a secret addiction to hurting myself in a really bad way. And like it was always these suicidal thoughts and always angry at myself. You're dumb, you're stupid, you're this, you're that, you can't do anything. And everyone would give me compliments and I would like kind of like, oh, thanks, that's really nice. And then on the inside of my head, I'm like, don't listen to them. You're so stupid and this and that. And I would literally talk like this to myself. And I was like, whoa, you got to stop that. And through numerology, I finally got a way to actually, approach mastering vibration. But I was still angry at myself for a very long time. So in case anyone's dealing with that, like, you're trying to write an ad or trying to post something and you're like, oh, this is so stupid. What the hell am I even doing? This sucks. Forget it. And then, it'll go off and do other things. On the positive side, the fun part comes out. You guys like to travel. We like to go places. We want to, spontaneity is a big thing, but it's a challenge because we want to spend money faster than we make it. And my excuse to that or my response to that is like, let's just make more money. Like, let's stop trying to cut our style down. Let's just expand our wallets and actually continue that ambition. Because that number, when it works powerfully, it's like, I don't care. I'm just going to do it anyway. Like, who cares? Let's just keep moving forward. Like, that's like Caroline Lee Dewey here, this vibration she's got. It's like, I don't need to know. I'm just going to do it anyway. Like, we'll figure it out. Just throw a bunch of stuff at the wall. Something will stick. And that's a good thing to have in that 5. It's like, I don't need to think so hard. I just get to run with the seed of passion. So then we get to the 6. That was a favorite number in the 6. I was born in June myself, so I love this number. I hold a 6 name now. Okay, the 6 is like mom and dad. It's like a family. It's like a connection. There's a value in here. And this is why I was like, oh, Matthew's a great name because Matthew's is a master 6. So he's very loving and super caring and like this very like emotionally sensitive, emotionally aware. He's not going to just be like a man away from his feelings. Like he's like connected, it's like a connection in there. That's a really good feeling. So no wonder you don't like Matt. You're like, no, it's Matthew. I'm like, I get you because that's a really good looking name. So we really want to make sure that we understand that there's a lot of love inside of these types of feelings, especially in 6. Now we see the value of 6 shows up both in wealth and in love. So there's a balance inside of here where time and love equals more money. The money and love, and the time and love you invest creates a wealth for you. And it also decides to show up on both realms. So this is like the convergence point of like having a connection inside of, I'm making money and I'm doing this for my family and I'm becoming a leader. So this is where the 2 really cross over. So it's a wonderful looking number to have. Elizabeth has this as a life path. We see that Matthew's born in this number as well. Who else is this? Nashe has this. Elizabeth Karen Watkins, Jamie Suzanne Henderson. We'll talk about some of these just to make sure we understand. This is the name you're born with. So just in case it's changed over marriage, just make sure that we update this because I want to make sure. I guess it was just more or less Jill. I wanted to know if this was your birth name or not. Because if it's a married name, then we want to make sure that we show up the way it needs to. But cool, we'll go over it when we do. But the 6 is emotionally caring. They're very responsible. They're absolutely like loving, caring people. Okay, so we like that feeling. Okay, so Fortman is my maiden, Francis is my married. So what I'll do is we'll delete this and we'll also delete Francis here from here. So born as Jill Leslie Fortman, we'll update this for us, okay, so we can see what it's going to look like when it's just showing up on your birth certificate. But this is what should be showing up on your birth certificate before marriage, before adoption, before anything, before confirmation names. Like You know, oh, we got a live one, and then you know what did you name it, and what does it show up on your stuff? So and it hit place. It's like the first. That's like your birthday outfit. You know, like you were wearing this vibration on your way in. So cool. 6. This is like perfect, especially for all of us, because we got families. We want to escape the rat race, right? We want to be entrepreneurs. We want to make oodles of money. We want to make lots of powerful vibration within our family. Everything's got to be sort of accordant. So when I look, and just to be fair, this is the cheat sheet. Okay, so this is basically like all of the vibrations as they show up in names. We look to see that if it's green or purple, it's got or black, it's got either a 6 or an 8 in it. Okay, so those are like the key ticket numbers to make sure that we want our names to end in a 6 or an 8, just in case anyone's kind of like trying to follow along with the math. But cool. So we have the 6. Then we have the 7, and I saw someone here with a bunch of 7s in their chart. Magdalena. Okay, so Magda has born with the name 7, life path 7, and she just uses 7s all the way across. That's a challenge, and we're going to talk about that. The frustration you must be going through is like phenomenal because of the fact that there's 8s there too. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the 7s bring out this divine. This is a connection to you know, like the spiritual. This is the non-communicative number. This is like I'm very in depth with my intuition, with my psychic power. My mentality is huge. This person, these types of energies, we know stuff without having to know things, or that without having to learn them. We just kind of get that vibe in there. Okay, so we show up with the 7, and it can be a challenge to find our voice. So in case anyone with massive 7s getting this throat ache, or they're getting a sore throat or a neck pain or back pain, so shoulder pain or something anywhere around here that says I can't find my value, I can't find my worth, I can't express it, or the frustration starts to build, that 7 has a really strong way of showing you what success looks like, but then closing it behind bulletproof glass. And you're like, because I wish I could just, oh. And it was one of my clients told me this. I don't know, was it? I wonder if it was Noel. I'm not sure if it was you or not. But someone said to me, I wish there was a microphone in my head so that I could just record my thoughts. And I'm like, oh, that's so good. That was like, because this is what the 7s will feel like. Like I know everything, but I can't say anything. I just don't know how to say stuff. So in case you're experiencing that energy, I appreciate you guys. We're definitely going to go through it. Here we come to the one with all the dollar signs. And this is like, yo, now we're talking. This is my wizard vibe. This is my Jill. This is my Sarah. This is my Caroline. Okay, Jamie Green, you got this number. It's working. You Bloom too. Like that's a smoking looking name. And you know, I'm always scared when I look at a name like that because I'm like, oh no, what if they've already got the t-shirts made and the name doesn't work and I got to fix it. And so when we see a really powerful looking 8, we are looking at the wizard number for law of attraction, abundance, intelligence. This is the expression of your mind, brain energy. So, you know, they created cell phones. That's like reverse engineering the power of our brain. And we've like deviated from our natural evolution of what we should be able to do with this thing, because now we just do it through electricity and electronics. So it's a challenge, but we're up for it. We're up for the challenge. Okay, so there's a really powerful place for us to grow through. But this 8 is an infinity symbol sideways. So our money makes us more money. Our energy gives us more energy. What we give to the world comes back to us in spades. So we have to be extraordinarily careful, Caroline Lee Dewey, because this vibration could be a detriment towards our success, especially if because you're using this, Caroline Dewey. Caroline Dewey. You're not using Lee in there, so it's cutting you down to a 4 that says I work too hard. And this is a challenge because the 8's like, I need to work smarter. I want to have more fun. I want to express a magnetism to my wealth. And the 494 is like, this is the ultimate mechanical of wealth. So this is what we look to express or understand through our time together. Most of the names that we work with, this is like the reason why I found numerology the way I found it, because when I found it, I was like, I already know about life path numbers, 1111, yeah. Tell me something I don't know. And then what I learned was that you could crank your name up and down like a freaking radio to change the vibration that you're holding. Like Matthew's a musician. So imagine, and I'm a guitar, I like guitar. I'm a guitar, okay? So no big deal. I used to play bass in the band, okay, and like I also like to do a little bit of drumming with my hands. But imagine on a guitar, if you put your fingers on the wrong frets, it doesn't sound good. It sounds like you don't know what you're doing, and it sounds like the song doesn't fit. But if you put just two fingers over, and you're like, just try that. And then it just sounds like, whoa, man, that's like Metallica, dude. And it sounds good. And it actually expresses a vibration that is divinely connecting. It's the difference of being on stage and trying to kill some cats. So you have to understand that when a name doesn't quite fit, especially if we're looking at wealth, because we're entrepreneurs. So we're like, yo, show me that letter, that number that says all that dollar signs. Can I get in on some of that? Yes, that's basically what we're doing. And when you guys see all of your loving, sweet names, nothing wrong with you guys, are showing up in the red, there's communication issues, there's self-worth, we're challenged, we're fighting ourselves, we're giving up everything else to other people, we don't stand up for ourselves the way we want to. We pretend things are okay when they're not. Everyone else gets to experience us but us. And this is like what you guys were telling me. So I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, we're going to move through it. By the end of our time together, we're going to look like this. We're going to be all like, purple and black and green, and we're going to look good. We're going to absolutely have some power inside of our time together. So this is like changing the game. We're going to change the game. So let's keep going, because I don't want to forget about the 11, and I'm also going to make sure we put in the 22, because these are net mastery numbers. Just so to be fair, there's 33, there's 44, there's 55, and all that kind of good stuff. So there are more numbers up top, but the last one that I usually see is a 33. But we're going to stick to just 11 and 22 today, just because they show up readily available. We're on November 22nd here already, so this is kind of a big deal. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the number 9, and we have a bunch of hearts. This is like, and we looked at the love conversation. The 3 was like, oh my God, I've got a crush. I think she likes me and I like her. And then the 6 shows up as, we're going to get married, we're going to have kids, we're going to have a family. And then the 9 shows up as, we have to help other families. We got to help the planet. We have to help people. We can't just sit here and do things for ourselves. So this is, and I'm just going to pick on Matthew, because I remember, I was like looking for everybody's stuff and I couldn't find your guys' things. And then I checked my business inbox, and this is where your stuff was in there. And can I get a thumbs up that it's okay that I explain what's going? Okay, cool. So he's struggling with this whole accepting monetary success thing. And, this is the 9, because it's so selfless. It's connected to the planet. It cares about the impact. It wants to see people become happy and wealthy. And then it's going to feel guilty about doing it itself. And yet you're born 1968. This number here says you are destined for wealth. So the only way to really reconcile this, in my opinion, is to understand that your wealth is a result of the impact that you have to other people. So when you are soaring past $20,000 months, you have to recognize that you're worth it. You earned that. You deserve that. You absolutely deserve that, because many people are going to be chanting, be like, yeah, these guys, you bloom too, you bloom too. Like, they're going to understand that because of this vibration, they were enabled a success story or escaping something. So the 9 cares about evolving the planet. It wants to help people move through. And we definitely have to recognize that, because that's not an easy thing to express, because, on one side, it's like, it's not about the money. It's not about the money. But I would like to make 20K a month, though. Like, that'd be fun. And so we're going to be caught between 2 separate spaces. And I don't think there's anything guilty or wrong with that. I just figure that, well, in order to do that, it's kind of like the Zig Ziglar quote, you help enough people get what they want in their life, and you'll get what you want in yours. It's more like a quantum physics and quantum mechanics. The last thing we want to do is serve everyone, get everyone everything they need, and then when the UPS comes to deliver our fortune, we're like, oh, no, I could never. It's like, we have to understand that that's coming for us. And so it's a powerful movement. But the 9 is humanity. It's selfless and ego. It's not about the self. It's about all things and everything. So it's a wonderful feeling to have you with us, especially also Kayla. You have 9s in your chart, a lot of them. Jamie has them as well. So we see this. This is where we get Sarah Jane Worley has this. Nashe has this as well. We see this vibration that says, look, I'm going to be big. I just have to grow into that and not let my ego get in the way. So those are like the advanced numbers. Then we get into mastery. And if you see double digits like 11, 22, 33, it's just significant that you got so much more to deal with, because now instead of just dealing with one number, you're dealing with two. So angels show up when double ones. Master builders show up when you see a 22. So in case you have that vibration showing up in your chart, it kind of just means that, I'm supposed to be doing something extraordinarily big, and I have got a lot to grow through in order to get there. So just be fair. You've got the long road, the extra experience journey that can make you feel like I'm slow, I'm not getting this done. How come everyone else? Why am I so delayed? How come I have to go through so much extra stuff in my life? Double numbers will do that, and it's worth the challenge that we have to go through. But I've got two of them, so in case anyone's like, damn, I'm with you. Okay, so I get it. I'm a life path 11. I've got a 22 in my chart, so I know that I'm going to build something extraordinarily huge. And as an angel, I'm going to be the one who gets to show up and be the light for someone in a dark space. So that's kind of what I mean. It's like you bring a divine light flashlight with you where people are trapped underneath the darkness, and we get a chance to open it up. But that means we have to go into darkness. So it's not easy to do that. Okay, so I'm super excited for this, guys. I kind of blew through that a little quickly. So if there are any questions, you're more than welcome to ask. But I feel like I had to get through that because I had a sensation that we have a lot of work to do together. So what I want to do is I'm just going to quickly pull out Jill's numbers so that I can make sure I have them. So we have Jill Leslie Fortman. Okay, so I'll just take a look and see that this is how it looks, just to make sure I have it. Okay, and then this now becomes this color. Cool. Cool. Okay, so I've got my rainbow, and if I find any spelling mistakes, you guys just let me know, and we're gonna have some fun here. So please, as we're aware of this, you have a lot to learn through recognizing other people's numbers. This is a sacred space, as I say. You've invited me in here, so I'm assuming that it's okay to go deep. But in case you have to run to the bathroom or you have to, be away for this for certain people's numbers, I can respect that. I understand that. But we will have the replay available for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Caroline, and I'm going to unmute you so I can see you. I can't unmute you. I think you have to unmute yourself. But if you want, you can do that for me. Hello, hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Are you excited for this?
Yes.
It was actually the first person who paid, or the first person who came in. So I wanted to read your chart with you, and we're going to be great one time together here. You got a powerful look chart. Okay, I'm just going to see that you've got an echo on here. So what I'll do, I'll try to turn my volume down. But can you still hear me okay?
Yeah, I just moved my speaker away, so that might be better too.
Oh, sure. Okay, yeah. So you could just be catching the microphone there. Okay, so let's talk about this. Life Path 8, starting us off with a really big bang. You've got the magnetism of wealth. First warning, you have to be careful about what you say. You've got to be extraordinarily careful about the words that you release out of your mouth, because they are highly charged. And there could be, when Bobby's talking, you mute yourself, there will be an echo until it's muted. Let's just mute you real quick. Okay, so yeah, and then we can unmute you to let go. Thank you, Kayla. So as a Life Path 8, you need to become wealthy, okay? You need to be wealthy. Otherwise, this isn't going to work. If a negative 8 starts to show up, and it really doesn't, like you've got good-looking numbers all the way across, okay? So when a negative 8 shows up, disassociation from the self, a feeling of you're too smart or too good for this or for people, and it's going to be very commandeering and domineering against others. Like your heightened sense of intelligence really plays a big piece of this. So to have a really powerful looking 8, Balaj is a Life Path 8, just so you know. There's a really powerful sense of number in here. You're a smart cookie. You're a very powerful and wonderful level of intelligence, but with great power comes great responsibility, okay? So you have to be careful about the things that you say. We can't go off saying things like, oh, watch, they're gonna mess this up. It's like you're almost having that observer effect on someone. And when we look at your name, Caroline Lee Dewey, you have another balanced 8. So when I was putting this out, I'm like, whoa, like you're a life path 8 with a balanced 8 in your name. Well, let's see. Well, let's keep going. And then you put on Caroline Dewey. Now, this number here is a severe challenge. It's like taking a wizard like wizard numbers and, super magnetic and give me my wand, and someone hands you a hammer and a screwdriver and you're like, what the hell is this? And you're like, yeah, work really hard. Like work really hard. Like I should be, bippity boppity boo and like get that Harry Potter on and, with my wand, not a hammer. And so the Caroline Dewey vibration is hard on itself. This is going to be that I'm not good enough. And remember we said you can't get caught saying these things because they're going to manifest and reinforce, and you keep on sowing this identity or reality into you that just says, look, I just want to work really hard and get the job done. And then on the other side, we have numbers here that says business-minded, entrepreneur vision. Then we have fun, enjoyable, creative. You're going to experience some time as a child where things are not that serious. But then can really get away with a lot. Like, like the 3's like, ooh, me. And like, I'm just having fun. Don't worry about me. But really, you're like concocting. You're smarter than everyone. Everyone, like, but you'll play the fool pretty easily because the 3 I'm just having fun. I'm not trying to do anything crazy. But the 8 is like, but I'm smarter than everyone. And then there's a very strong psychic side to you, like a very divine connective spiritualism inside of you, inside of these 7s, that says this woman is not kidding around. Not only can she see the future, she's dreamed up the spell, but she will spell this out. There's a reason why we call it spelling, because these are actual codes. So when you say stuff, they're going to happen. But if we're trapped under the vibration of frustration, analytical, logical, and step by step, and brick by brick, and brick by brick, this is going to cause an extraordinary level of exhaustion, especially since your full name is like, last one in's a rotten egg. Let's run into the pool. I want to have fun. I want to go traveling. I want to enjoy my wealth. And then the Caroline Dewey saying, stop it, get back to work, and wants to get back into the clock in, clock out. So there's like a division of where your power is. And I would like never use Caroline Dewey. Like, don't do it. The best thing that you could do, actually, there's a couple of things we could do. We could talk about Caroline Lee if you want to start putting a really funky looking name together, just in case you'd like to do that. I don't mind to do something like that with you. I would say that your full name, Caroline Lee Dewey, it holds a vibration of, maybe I should do it like this. I put these all in here so that we can see them. And then that way I can kind of like use this as a bit of a legend for the different vibes that show up. Is that right? Nope, one more. Right here. Okay, cool. So it's fast and fun. So this is like, look, I don't need to think about stuff. I just want to get things moving. I just want to run right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. These are starter kit vibrations, these ones here. The slow and steady, fast and fun. These are numbers that will get you moving. This is the one that says, I will get there on the last day with my last breath, and I'll finally be satisfied. And it's like, whoa, no, you want to get there now, like yesterday. There's a passion in there that says, take off this speed limiter. I don't want to be working at a vibration that's working slow and steady wins the race. I want to get there fast and fun. Now, we could play around with this and move this upwards to the higher levels of leadership in case you're feeling like you want to pull another something together. I set this side here for what letter should we pick or how high should we go. So if you would like, I don't mind to try a few other ones. But if you're feeling the authority in your naturally God-given vibration, this is good. And then just quick notes on your business name. None of them worked except for selflovelifestyle.com. So unless you put .com on it, your Instagram handle is no good. Okay, so I would like to think that you're in a really good space with that as a brand, where you could start branding selflovelifestyle.com. And then when you say it to people, you walk with it, you talk with it. This is the one that says, I'm moving here fast. I got a sense of leadership, and I also have a sense of passion and family. This is a loving, caring vibe, and I'm not afraid to go get it done. So this is where I like to see that you have got a really good looking name inside of your chart, but you set the bar. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. Like lined up name, even though this is super hard on yourself, it's still lined up. It's still actually like you're going to get stuff done. And then even with your business name, it still definitely looked good. So what I'll do is I will unmute you. Let's see if we can unmute you. And then let's hear some thoughts, comments, observations, or if you want to focus in on something a little bit higher.
Okay. So yeah, the only reason I had put my personal page name as Caroline Dewey was just to differentiate. I prefer Caroline Lee Dewey, so I guess I could always just do my business page and my personal profile both as Caroline Lee Dewey. That's an option for me.
Do you want to see what it would look like if I put a weird looking letter in your name?
Yeah, sure.
Let's try it. So we're gonna go Caroline. Here we go. And as I do that, it's 5:55 in alarm just went off. So let's just check this out. We're gonna go Caroline Lee. So it would look like Caroline Lee X or Caroline Lee F or Caroline Lee O. You could also take that. Okay, no. What about this? What if I just took Caroline Dewey? And then we would put in a B, a K, a T, or you could take a L, A. Yeah, really, honestly, like, unless I found something super powerful and super awesome, it's like, why would we mess with your name if it's already really good? So what I would suggest is that unless there's something cool, and do the name you were born with. You didn't change it for marriage or anything.
No, that's me. Yeah.
That's fine. So if you're okay with taking that, I would say that this is a really powerful looking alignment. But this is like this takes the frustration out. If the Caroline Dewey was like, I need to know, I need to go through every single thing, and Caroline Lee's doing like, boring. No, I want to run. I just want to fly. I want to get moving really fast. This is more fun. It allows more passion, ambition, fun, creativity, friendship, and this really starts to upgrade your wealth story from I work hard, time is money, into my money works hard. I just know my money works hard for me. And when I looked at your chart, I'm like, okay, she's probably haunted by her success. Like you're probably seeing the value of what right there to meet you quick. You're probably seeing the value of what you're ahead of what's ahead of you. And then that 494 is like, don't get ahead of yourself. You've never done this before, so you don't know what you're talking about. And then the rest of you is like, come on, I want to move forward. So I would say that this is the power zone for you. And if something comes to mind and you're like, how about this? Like, do you do Carol at all, or like K or something like that? I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, we could play around with it. Go for it.
Yeah, people have called me a lot of different things. People have called me Care, so I've used that for a long time, CARE, but I don't use it as much anymore as an adult. And Carol, there's a lot of people who call me Carol, but I don't really I never called myself that. But yes. I was also curious too, just with the website, the main website that I use right now is CarolineLeeDewey.com, which I wasn't sure if you had seen that.
I'll quickly just do that for you real quick here. So CarolineLeeDewey.com. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. I'll give you guys all a hint. And this is the reason why I do this. When you see my site, it's bobbyfperryhard.xyz. And I have another site out there, createloveandwealth.xyz. I have to use www and I have to use XYZ. It frames the site so that no matter what I'm doing with it, it'll still work. So in case you're like, how do I get past that? Because I want to use my name as a brand. It would look like www.carolineleedewey.xyz, and that's an easy way of protecting your website vibration if you want, because Caroline Lee Dewey is great, but carolineleedewey.com or www.carolineleedewey.com, it doesn't work. So that's why I'm like, stick with selflovelifestyle.com. But then again, no triple W. I tried them both. And I'm like, .com is the one. At least you have it. And that's why, because I measured a couple of different ones of your sites. And I was like, well, this is the one that works. But in case you do feel like spending a couple extra bucks on GoDaddy and making sure that you get the extra, extension to your site, I would do it. But unfortunately, the numbers for the sites you have are lack in communication, no wealth vibration. So it's like, because your name is really good. And the last thing you need was what your problem was. Not your problems, like what's your problem? No, but your challenge you had to express was that your name was so good. So what the hell? Like if my name is so great and my numbers are so awesome, then why am I so challenged? It's because that 494, that 729, or it just went off away from that magnetism of wealth, which is like, you need to have that in order to not go completely insane. Like your name and your life path number are like ready for space flights. And this is like a really powerful looking vibration. So like you set the bar. And I was like, whoa, are you guys all like this? And then I went over to Jamie. I'm like, whoa, you guys are all like this? Like, because you got really cool looking numbers too. And then Liz came out. I'm like, oh, okay, no, we're back to normal again. And like everyone's, we're still dealing with this. But in the same regard, you've got a really good looking chart. So if there are any more, we'll come back around after we go. So because when we're talking about everyone else, we will some things will pop up. You'll be like, ooh, how about this? And so you can definitely put it into the chat, or you can just, I'll open it up for questions once we go through everyone. But seeing that, of course, since it is 2:33 in the morning now, for some people, I'll limit it to like one or two names, and then after that we'll come back in again, and I don't mind to be here with you guys. Okay, so Caroline Lee Dewey. I almost feel like this is like not even fair, because this is like who you were born with. And when that vibration shows up, I have two different types of sessions when I work with someone. There's either spiritual surgery where we have to like implant a number or take something out, or there's Caroline Lee Dewey's situation where we're just reading the owner's manual and we're actually just looking to see, this is what you show up with and this is how you work the numbers that you've got. So work it, girl, because you absolutely have power in there. There's and no shame in having a good time, no shame in enjoying that spiritual space, that visualization space. Part of you wants to have fun and like just go out there and get it done, and another part of you is very sincere, serious, quiet, reflective, won't say very much. Those sevens are very deep. So we're glad that you had a 3, because that's a childhood number, and you had it between 0 and 27 when you were a kid. So it's good to have that, because now it's game on. And when you say something, it's going to be of power. So the next time you say some messed up stuff and it doesn't serve you, it's not powerful for you, just release it and be like, all right, I'm working through it. I'm upgrading my conversation every day. Every time I say something, it becomes better and better. So sometimes I'm still a human being. I'm gonna get pissed off. I get it, but I will always keep upgrading my value of conversation, because your future is just depending on it. To know that you're not messing around. These numbers are extraordinarily magnetic. Cool. Okay. So let's keep moving. Caroline, thank you for holding space for me. Jamie. All right, Jamie, here we go. Let's do this. I've got life path number 2 with you as well. Where are you? Hey, Jamie, what's up? Okay, there you guys see you. So life path 2, we're going to see great friends, super loyal, okay, wants to connect with other people. But then there's this like challenge that we're experiencing. Like I put these 3 numbers, they correspond to 3 different ages in your life. So as we focus in on where you are at as a kid, you have an adult energy as a child, and then you have a childlike energy as an adult. So we've mix these 2 up to think that it's not fair, because in most of your childhood you're not going to be making money, and then for most of your adulthood it's going to be irresponsible to act like a kid, and yet here you are. So we have to really play with this to think that you're very mature, you're very intelligent in your ways, you have a very serious vibe, but let her loose and she wants to have fun. And there's a feeling in there that's at 27, the aging conversation doesn't happen. Like you're going to stay looking, feeling, acting very young for a very big portion of your life until you get to 55 and you resume your aging process. So this is in this lull zone. And in that 3, hesitation, challenge of self. I don't feel like I'm good enough, or and it'll look to the success of others inside of your results to help you feel good. Like, it's great if you make a sale, but if you help one of your teammates make a sale, that's the big win for Jamie, because she's got a life path too, and it's all about how do we help other people get through this, not just me. And there's a really big vibe in there. So we know that you're smart. This is a bit hard to manage as a kid, okay, because you're smarter than your parents at a lot of these times, and then there's a lot of the 2, which will just sacrifice the self. So it's like, oh, I have to ditch my sense of reason, logic, and understanding because someone else is going to get mad at me. And then as a 3, as a kid, it's like, finally, I'm ready to be a big kid now. And then the world gets real serious because now we got to get married and have kids and, build a business and build our brand and and do all these like adulting inside of our life. It can be a little bit of a challenge to experience, but I think that you're going to be okay. I looked at your name, Jamie Suzanne Henderson. This is before marriage, I would assume. And you had a number here that says perfect marriage material, very loyal, very like, you're going to do things right in the right order, very loving, caring. You're going to provide a good family vibration. I didn't check Jamie Suzanne Green. So in case that's your legal name and you feel like, oh my God, a part of me is lost, it's probably because that full name now isn't as powerful. Luckily, Jamie Green is actually perfect. We're good. So I wouldn't mind checking that for you in case you do want to. Take a look at that and see that in there, because now this number says, again, that quiet 7 shows up as an intuitive number. The 8 shows up as a heightened level of intelligence minus the ego, because the 7 is like, it's not all about me. And then the 6 shows up as wonderful, loving family, wonderful, loving connection of wealth inside of my community. I'm a leader. I will speak up for other people. I'm a mentor. I will help people grow. So inside of your, like, let's say this is your business name. You're making ads, you're advertising to people. The vibe here is that you're aware, you're attentive, you're like you've got empathy for people. You can kind of read between the lines of what they say, and there's a strong value of I will help you grow. Let's do this together. And this togetherness, familial vibe is a really big marketable aspect. It's the number that I use. And when you guys, after you guys work with me, you're part of my numerological family. I call this my numerology alumni. So I invite you to my private group. It's a really big fun in there. And basically, I create a very big family vibe because I know that that's where the love really grows from. So we've got a really powerful looking vibration here. Be tough to fix this. I wouldn't fix it if it ain't broken. You could do some stuff to it. So just in case, you want to change it or want to move it around, what I would do is I would take a look at this and I've got to duck out. Okay, Caroline, duck out. I appreciate you so much for being here. We will, I'll get you the replay when time is due. And also there's going to be some goodies at the end. So I promise some fun stuff for those who stay. Caroline, you're going to be included. So just make sure you watch the replay. So let's take a look at this and we'll go Jamie, Suzanne, and we're going to go Green. Ooh, I kind of lost your voice there a little bit. Okay, so this is like a big deal. You taking this is not fun. You taking that legal name shift, because now this shows up places. You got power here, okay? But now this number shows up instead of let's do stuff. It says 797, which says I'm going to be challenged to express my wealth or express myself. I'm not going to express the way that I want to, and this is what you're showing up legally. Financially to the government, the bigger numbers show up there. So don't get any weird ideas and, change your name legally. That is something people do with me, just in case anyone's wondering if they can fix the red line at the very beginning under your full birth name. It is something that people do, but it's not something that we would consider in a first time meeting conversation. Like this is 2 or 3 years later. So in terms of your brand, I'm really liking what you've got. We could change it around a little bit in case you added a BK or T to your Jamie B Green or Jamie K Green or Jamie T Green. This would make things a bit quieter, but they also still will work. And then we could also play around with Jamie Suzanne if you wanted to. But Jamie Green is, I'm biased because this is a number that works really well. This is the one that I have. So it is actually a wonderful place for you to show up. but there are deeper levels to this that are unaligned, that are like misaligned, that we may want to talk about. But if you'd like, I'll unmute you here. Or actually, I think you have to unmute yourself. And let me know comments, questions, observations, any thing we want to focus on.
I don't know. First of all, what you explained there at the end when you were talking about the 786 numbers, that is like totally how I am showing up in the world right now. You kind of hit the nail on the head. And you really also explained my younger years also. And it's very interesting because there's times when I'm speaking right now where I think it sounds young for my actual age. And I was like, why did that sound so young to me? So the 3 and what you explained about the 3 makes a lot of sense. Jamie Suzanne Green is my current legal name. But I only use Jamie Green, like in, on my Facebook page and on my Instagram. I think I did just write a quote and I put Jamie S. Green, but that's not a good number. Okay,
I don't do that either.
Okay.
That goes back into the 797, so it just ruins the communication in a really big way.
Okay, so I won't do that, and I can just keep it Jamie Green, I think, for now.
Do you have anything else that you're using, like an Instagram handle or a username or a website?
So I have a website that's jamiegreenhealing.com. It's not active though. It's like, on hold. Jamie Green Healing.
jamiegreenhealing.com?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it. It doesn't work properly.
Okay.
But Jamie Green Healing does help. It does work. But when you put it as a website, it's just not going anywhere. So
okay.
I'd probably stick with the mastery vibration of Jamie Green. And yeah, I would just give when you got all these 797s and 7s in your chart, spiritual meditative space is very powerful for you. And then also it might give you anxiety unless you're appreciating that the kid inside of you, that part of you that's like pause young, to understand that that's there. Love, adorable, romance, creativity, playing with kids, expressing yourself musically, or anything that shows up artistically would be like a really easy way to like unload some of the extra stress, because you're very serious and there's a lot of seriousness inside of your numbers. So it's a thankfulness that we have a 3 in there, even though we have to pay for it with a little bit of that uncertainty, because it's almost like part of you is uncertain, but a part of you really isn't. And a part of you really knows. And like, it's an unwavering understanding. And then it's weird to be like, ooh, but it's like that 3 doesn't fit in the rest of the numbers that show up in your chart, because you're very wise. There's a very intuitive level of expansion in there that starts to show up. And also, while we're on the topic, Jamie Green Healing, it's balanced, but it's not really a healing. It's more like a building or working. So in case you're feeling a disconnection in a certain way from it, might be the reason why. Way out of it, w.xyz on either side to fix the sites. But yeah, Jamie Green, I'd say you've hit it. It's a really good looking name. Cool. Okay, so let's keep moving forward. It's interesting because the ones who came in first are like, you guys are going to get more out of working with me privately when we go through each nuance of every name, because I can't really give you a letter that kind of like gives you this switch feeling that switches us on, because your names are actually really good. So now back to the rest of us who have all had to sort of deal with this in one way, shape, or the other. This is basically the bulk of what we've got to deal with. And so I appreciate you, Caroline and Jamie, for sort of setting the bar so freaking high here. But we're going to take a look at Liz. So if I got Liz, where's Liz? Hey, Liz, what's up? How's it going? It's like middle of the night where you are right now. You're like, I'm staying up for this. So I appreciate you so much for being here with me. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about this. Now, when I looked at your chart, the thing that hit me in the back of the soul was like, in 2 weeks, like 2.5 weeks from now, I'm putting on an event. It's the women's alignment. So we're talking about it's women's only. It's going to be a women's only call, and we just did one for the boys. So the replay is available in case you guys want to get something for your husband there. But the ladies call, the reason why I wanted to do this is because the numbers that we deal with in life, like 1 is a masculine number, 2 is a feminine number, 3 is a feminine number, 4 and 22 is a masculine number, 5 is a masculine number. So 6 would be a feminine number, 7 would be a non-gender specific number, 8 is a masculine number, and 9 is a feminine number. So we have different levels of vibrations that show up, and numerology doesn't care if you're a man or a woman. It's just going to show you the vibration that you're holding. So on one side, we've got Liz's chart being the alpha woman, the warrior, the master builder, the super leader. Like, this is intimidating for men. This is going to be kind of disconnected from your the feminine flower of you kind of feeling. It's more about the I need to seek and conquer and drive and forth, and and just simply put, as a female, you may not have that anatomy to support this. And yet your vibration inside of your birthday says, I'm going to drive, conquer, I'm going to move through, I'm going to punch through stuff, and I'm going to build things. So we've got a very strong and determined leader on one side, and then Elizabeth Karen Watkins on the other is like the most beautiful, sweetheart, loving, caring, darling energy. And so we've got two very strong opposing forces that are showing up inside of your chart. One that says cute as a button, I want to be a loving housewife or a loving partner, or I want to do it. On the other side, it's like, I'm sick and tired of that shit. I gotta run forward, I gotta do stuff in my life. I'm powerful and I'm angry and I want to get stuff built. And so there's like this difference in the sides of you, which is going to be, a little bit suffocating depending on which one you let come to the front of the conversation. Then we take a look even further, and Liz Watkins, this is one that I know so dearly to my heart, because before I took a letter, I had the same vibe, and I was just good old Bobby Perryhar, and I had this vibration 819, the 189. First of all, the -1 can't see itself. The -8, too smart for this and can't figure this out, and this hyper level of intelligence will rise so far outside of itself. And then the 9 is infinite to the planet. So everyone else gets the best of you but you, and you won't even see how powerful you are. So this is like a no, we don't want to do that. We absolutely want to make sure that we fix this or put something on it or do something to it that gives us the ability to figure this out. There are some options that I thought might be a good idea to talk about, just in case you wanted to. And then also, because you weren't using anything else, I just aligned up Lizbert37 because that was your number for your Instagram handle. It's not working for wealth. So, these are the finer things. And if in case anyone sort of peeked ahead and they saw, Sarah says 320, yes, you can. So we're looking at the vibration of the names. On the other side, we look at what people line up. So to think that you've got different versions, different names, and different things in here that may be identifiable, like your Instagram name. If you're going to spend a lot of time building wealth on your Instagram, and I give you a really solid name, it's kind of like, going for a job interview, and I give you a really power suit, and then you wear something else. And it's like, well, you're going for the job, you're going for the success, and I give you something to use it, and then we wear something else. So the same thing with your Instagram handle. I'd probably add a 3 in there, or at least a 5 if you wanted to fix it without really changing it. We could even add something like an E, or we'll talk about what that would look like Elizabert if you want, or something weird like that. We can fix that one there. But Liz Watkins, we need something. We absolutely need to put something in there. I wonder if you want, we can try Elizabeth Watkins, but if you're like, I'm more of a Liz kind of gal, I can give you a letter for Liz Watkins, but we have to rebuild this in a way. We could try Liz Karen. We could try Elizabeth Karen. I think Elizabeth Karen did work too. So just in case you're feeling like you want to build a name specifically, I don't mind to do this with you right now. But let's see if you want to unmute yourself. Okay, I've unmuted you. How are you?
Hi. I'm still awake.
For being late where you are.
Yeah, I'm good. That's just saying about the The life path number in the first place made me laugh. It makes me understand my Jekyll and Hyde tendencies. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. It's just one of those things that, like Elizabeth Karen, just makes me think of my mom calling me Elizabeth. So I'd like to stick with Liz Watkins. So and see about adding something in.
So let's work with Liz Watkins here. And just to be fair, because I'm going to go over this in depth in the women's alignment. Being independent is a really big thing. Being in control and being in the lead. Okay. Also, running and like exercise and sweating would be a really good way for you to unload some of that energy. And then also things like reading and studying and learning and understanding your bigger nature is a really big way of dealing with some of the energies that you have to deal with inside of it. So let's go into Liz Watkins. And if I were to put something onto this, and we're just going to quickly put a letter here. One of them would be 189, right? So one of them would be an F or an X. So Liz F. Watkins or Liz X. Watkins would be one. Another one would be, what is this? 5, 6, 7, 8, 6. So I would look at a vibration here of O. This is probably the one I would choose. Liz O. Watkins. And this really ties the two together so that you don't have to squash the power alpha side of you, and definitely do not have to ruin alongside the feminine side of you either. Both of them come together in really, really well. So just in case that's something of value or power to you, I love the 786, 876. It kind of just heals everything. And then we also have HQ or Z. So that would show up here. And then that would be like, Liz H. Watkins, Liz Q. Watkins, or Liz Z. Watkins. You could even take Liz Watkins with 2 Z's and just basically spell it like that in case you wanted to be a little bit more subtle and you didn't want to have to walk around with Liz Z. Watkins or Liz Q. Watkins. They're kind of weird looking. This would be an easy way to hide it, okay? But this vibration set, these 3 numbers, this one is, it really shows up like, Wonder Woman, like that, like Amazon warrior type of, like warrior princess kind of thing. The leader, passionate, and also balanced in its feminine. But it's kind of like a fighter woman, okay? Then we have 178, the HQ or Z, speaks more about the divine level of calm and quiet, which doesn't quite fit your chart, okay? Like, it'd be like Jekyll and Hyde and Clyde, and now there's like a new side to you. So it would be a little bit weird to take something like this, but it's available. And then this one is more like, all right, the two need to come back together, and they absolutely need to work together. There's a spiritual side, a business side, a family side, a loving side, a communicative side. All of the pieces start to unload in their proper energy. So just between us, I would say either the O or the F or the X. But for all of you guys listening, there may be one letter that just sort of like connects to you that says, oh, I like the way that writes out, or I like the way that looks when I spell it, or I feel called to the X for some reason. And I'm not talking about your exes, okay? Don't call your ex. But if you're looking for the letter and it's inside of your option set and you're feeling like, yeah, Liz F. Watkins, would look really good. You could even try like Lizzo Watkins with an O at the end, but I'm not sure if you feel in that way or not. But did any of these kind of like poke out at you a little bit more than the rest?
Yeah, FXO, yeah. I'd have to look at it.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but I wanted to show you Liz Karen. This is the queen vibration. So I just wanted to quickly just double check and see what's up. But my new option goes into something like this, because this one would own on everything and it balances everything out, just in case that one decides to rear its head at all. But you're feeling the F or the X?
Yeah, not sure really. I think I'm the FX and the O. I'm kind of.
Okay, so if you've got a pen with you, sign out Liz O. Watkins, okay, and then underneath it Liz F. Watkins or Liz X. Watkins, and you can kind of start to feel which one gives you more power, which one gives you more feel. And if anyone wants to hop into the chat and kind of like throw in your 2 cents and see which one sort of suits her the best, if any of you guys know her. To be fair, again, power, passion, leadership, independence. This would be an easy fit because these are numbers that you have, and it unloads your feminine power. Then we have this, the HQ or Z, goes off into a completely new direction. I probably don't feel it myself. Liz Karen is a very loving, caring. You're really going into the Jekyll side of your vibration and really just going into your feminine feel and vibe. And then the O is like going into the mastery version of both and says, I want my masculine, I want my feminine. I don't want them to be fighting with each other. So in case one shows up and feels more identifiable for you than the other, if you can't figure it out or you're thinking, I'm not sure, what I would suggest is let me do this. Let me go Liz X Watkins, and let's put it on there for now. And then if you're like, no, change it. And then it's like calling a coin while you put it in the air. So this would be one way to do it. And again, with this one here, Lizbert37, an Instagram chat thing is easy to change. I would absolutely be putting a 5 on there. And you could, if in case, or the letter E, if you could do that, I would definitely put the letter E or the letter 5. And then at least this way you're dealing with a vibration that's super fun in the sun and says, I'm ready to rock, I'm ready to go. But now that I've done this usually helps a little bit. How do we feel about this? Do you want to hold this as a placeholder, or did we pick the right letter, or do you think that you're going to still keep thinking about it?
Yeah, no, I like the 5 on the Insta handle, and I do like the X. Yeah, I do like the X. It's either X or O. Okay,
let's just try the O. Okay, Liz O Watkins, and I'm gonna see here 786. This is what could happen. You could take this now. Let's go Liz X Watkins, and then let's start building your business. Okay, let's grow. Let's get past where we're at right now. Then in 6 months, 12 months, when you're ready to spend a couple $1,000s on branding and you become 5A, 6A, and you've got a team of people you want to grow into leadership, might be a good time to turn the X into an O and absolutely continue the rise. So there is a way to like use one name after the next, but in which case this might be a good idea to leave it as Liz X Watkins, or in case I like the O now better. It's totally up to you.
No, I like that. I think that's a good call. I like the X for now. Okay, maybe progress to that.
Perfect. Okay, so let's take Liz X Watkins for now. Welcome to Alignment. This is wonderful.
Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. This is a passionate woman. We've got a very loving, caring center of the heart. My wife is a 156, so I know that feisty feeling of like cares for her family and cares for herself, really in a big value, big power way. But you don't want to mess with this person. Okay, that's a really big like follow me. I'm gonna take you to success, and like I'm not afraid to say that. And like I care about you. That's why I'm gonna tell you. And so that's the vibe that we show up with. And then it continues on with Lizbert 375. So I would say great as a handle, but then on top you have a name, and on that inside of your Instagram you would definitely do that. But business page, the whole 9, all of them. Make sure it's all Liz X Watkins. And then as you grow, we'll know when that happens. Okay.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find you here. I'm going to mute you. I appreciate you. I'm going to find Magda. Okay, so Magda, here we go. Unmuted. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Okay, so this overload of 7s, I can only imagine the amount of frustration that you have to deal with being as smart as you are, as intelligent as you are, and yet having to deal with this lack of communication. The 7 in here is extraordinarily psychic and intuitive. There's going to be a very strong sense of withdrawal, super introvert, right? That 7 here. Oh, right. Sarah Jane needs to go next. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go, because I just started with Magda, I'm going to finish off with Magda, and then I'm going to go with Sarah. Thank you for reminding me, Matthew. I appreciate you. Sarah, I appreciate your patience as well. Just going to put a nice little loving heart here to make sure that we don't forget about you. You're next. So Magda, okay, we've got a value here that shows up with lack of communication. And also at the same time, this can feel a little bit of a lack of motivation as well to feel like things aren't working the way they want them to, or I'm not expressing the way I need them to. And it's a challenge because look at all these 8s. This double 8 up front heightens your ability for wealth. So you've got all of the spells, you know everything you need to. If only we could just express ourselves in a very big way, would help everything out. Now you do run with Magda, so I will be checking Magda Salewska. How do you say your last name?
Salewska.
Salewska. Okay, so I will. We're gonna try it because hopefully that prevents us from having to take another letter. Because these numbers may be like, please don't give me a weird letter, and I can appreciate that. The 4 there is like hardworking. The 1 in there is going to be a level of independence, and that 2 is going to be a strong level of partnership. So if I take a look at your chart together here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Magda, and then we're going to do your last name here. Okay, so we're still going to need a letter. So in case it's, at least now we've got value of communication. Now this one shows up a little bit easier. We're going to put it right here. And we'll take a look now, the 292. So it's totally up to you. I can add, we can stay up at the top level and add a letter to Magdalena, or we can add a letter to Magda. But depending on which way you want to go, I don't mind to give you a letter for each one or for either one. But if you had a preference, would you rather build it around Magdalena or Magda?
I'm still going back and forth between the two, honestly.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's see if I can do it like this. So first of all, we'll do Magdalena, okay? And we have a 1-letter shift. So if you were to take an A, then you go into a global visionary, massive level of power, completely like disconnected from humanity. You're absolutely looking at the globe as a single space. Then you can also do the same thing with the J or the S. This is big top level vibration, extraordinarily severe challenge, maybe overshooting it. And then we have the GP or the Y right here. And now this one is the all-star. So this one shows up. Well, I want to become wealthy. I definitely want to unload my wealth. But I also like being that calm, reserved, and connected feeling. And then the 6 says I want to express myself in a loving, connected space. I'd say that this Magdalena G or Magdalena P or Magdalena Y Salewska is probably a lot easier. And the same thing that we saw with Liz, if you keep going, then you'll want to change it sooner or later when your success starts to unload. So depending on the one there, does one of these letters make you feel a bit more connected than the other?
So you're saying it's either J or S, right? Not both.
No. Just one letter. So I'm just giving you an option of the letters you can show up with. But does that mean you're kind of considering the Top Gun vibe? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just quickly double check this. Magda is a good name, so there is a reason for that as well. So how about Magdalena? Magdalena, like that. You mean business? Like you're serious? Like there's like emotions aside. Let's get this done. So in this case, if you were to take what is it? The J or the S?
I don't know.
Okay, let's take the S then. And then I'll show you what happens here. Like just take that on for a minute. This is like, I want to make millions of dollars in a single month, and I'm not afraid to put the next 10 years to get there. So you're young enough to do that. You're young enough to spend the next decade. You know, if you're 35, 37 right now, right? By the time you're 47, to be a multimillionaire and like you never have to worry about anything again, like that's a good looking vibe. But in case you find 6 months down the road that you keep throwing up every day and you can't figure this out and what the hell and everything is so hard and I didn't want that, I would say we go back down. But with your level of psychic power, I think you know what you're doing. I think you know what you're asking for. This is going to push a lot of the things up front. So in case there's any hidden anxieties or challenges, that double 8 that you were dealing with was like, let me add it. And Magdalena were like, I'm not afraid. I want to get this moving. I just need to fix this thing so I can start coming out. And this is the vibration that's going to allow it to really start beaming forward. So what I'll suggest is this is the one that, you know, you'll take with you. It's a huge vibe. And, you know, it's just so we know, like, in case you want to come back around, or in case you're feeling a little bit of that, you know, when we come through our second round, just keep it in mind, because I don't want to rush through you, but I also do want to respect Sarah, and I will come back around for questions. But with the sevens, there may be that thinking space that says, I want to feel into this. I want to write, like writing your name out would be a good idea. But comments, questions, observations?
So could you also comment on the Magda version? What would you add to that?
So if I were to do with Magda, and it was 292, just to quickly put it in here, let's see what you would come up with. So there would be 246, BK or T, and then you could also do D, M, or V. And these vibes now show up with the value of, let's just, like, this is the opposite end here. This is, look, I'm ready to go one step at a time. I'm not trying to, you know, get rich overnight here. I know that I've got to put some stuff together. I'm going to build it properly, a fine, steady hand. And then this one says, I want to serve people. This is Magda, by the way. I want to serve people. I want to help others. I'm very loving. I'm going to coach and mentor them. I'm going to grow them into wealth. I'm also going to be personable, but I also want to be a giant. And that's Magda D, Magda V, or Magda M. Sulewska.
Okay.
Still the S. Or did you feel into one of these letters? Let's try it. Magda V. Okay. And then, oops, sorry. And then that way we can get an idea. You can get a visual. And if anybody else feels like they want to throw in on this and what value looks really good for you, I'd say this is not kidding around. This is like, I'm going to another planet. This one's like, I'm going to fix the planet that I'm on. Thank you. And I'm here to help. So this one, you have to get really comfortable talking to, like, the millionaire conversation. And there can be no anxiety about making $1 million in a year, right? Or like in 6 months, or $1 million in the quarter, right? Or multimillionaire. Like, the anxiety doesn't exist there. It's like, of course. And then when I'm done that, I'm going to do it in a week. It's like, I don't care. I'm going to continuously keep going. This one's like, I can make $1 million. I'm fine with that. That's $84,000 in a year, or in a month. Sorry, 21K weeks. I'm cool with that. You know, and like, that's like, you know, the ultimate level of success. Ain't nothing wrong with making 20 grand in a week. I'll tell you that. Okay, so we're good with that. But it kind of like limits there. Where here it's like, I want to make $21,000 per hour. And like every hour I got 4 trifectas in my team going through. And like, this is the number Balazs holds, by the way. He's got a global visionary, global prosperity movement. So there's a value in there. When he found this, he's like, give me the big one. And he was working his ass off to get there. But does that help a little bit, or do you still think that?
Yes. What would be the difference with the A in the Magdalena?
A little bit more masculine. So it's just a tiny bit more. Actually, sorry, no, this is a bit more feminine, because the vibration of 9 shows up first. With the J or the S, the male number shows up first. So the 9 is more like Mother Earth, and that feeling, you know. And it's just fitting because, you know, Mother of Jesus was Mary Magdalene, right? So to think that this is feeling that big, huge number is in there, then it's very, very similar. Like we're splitting hairs. It's just much more of a feminine connection to the whole planet. But it's interesting how you look at that, and the feminine number is the bigger one. So for sure, it's something to consider. And you could also do something like, where am I? You could do something like this and go Magdalena with 2 A's and just brand like that without having the letter. You could hide that thing in there. So just in case you do that, instead of taking it as a separate initial, you could definitely pop it in there somewhere. But if you say it like this, then it's Magdalena A. Sulewska.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Do we need to think about it, or do you feel like one is just resoundingly calling you?
I have to think about it.
I'm going to leave these 2 up here so that you get a chance to sort of like peer into them and feel into them. They're sitting next to your birthday. You know, you've got alignment, and you can kind of just see, do I go up to the top of the mountain, or do I go over the cliff? And so if you go over the cliff vibe, that's like, boom, I'm ready to rock. This one's like, I just have a nice mansion at the top of the mountain. Nothing wrong with that. I hold a vibration like this is my last name. My wealth business, my LTD, when I created one, shows up as a 988. So just so we know. But we'll move forward if you're okay with it. Or do you have any more questions?
I'm okay for now. Thank you. That was
okay.
Good.
Yeah, we'll come back to you, and we're going to come back again. So, okay, Sarah, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. 3:40 in the morning. Wow, that's called commitment. I appreciate you for being here with me. Let me just find you. Where are you? Just going to see if you're here. Hello.
Hey,
how are you?
Hi, everyone.
Thank you so much for your patience. I appreciate you for being here with us. Let's take a look at this powerhouse set of numbers. I know that you need to get some rest, but this is about to wake you right up. So you've got large looking numbers in your chart, okay? I look at first things first, we see a life path 8. So we've got that wizard vibe that says, look, I want to create value and create wealth. Then we take a look at the first 27 years and we see a vibration of connection, partnership, and, you know, can be a little bit challenged to go through some stuff that has to, relate to relationship. So in case you've had to go through some things in that space, it's not easy to go through with an 11 vibration right up front as a little kid to experience a mastery looking vibration right up front, but all November babies have to deal with this, okay? Then we take a look at the middle section of your life, and you're in here right now that shows up as a vibe that says global vision, the globe and the ultimate wealth. So for you to, and we were talking about this just a second ago with Magdalena's number choice, you have it in your birthday, like where you're not afraid of making a big strike in the terms of wealth. We also see that you're about to approach a number here that shows up as the balance and the most mastery versions of wealth and love. So if you have yet to have created it, we could be feeling a bit of anxiety because these last 3 numbers in your chart, they're not kidding around. Like you got the top levels for love and this is master love, balance between love and wealth, master wealth. Like you're occupying, if you look back at this wealth and love here at the bottom right of the feeling, the 6, the 8, and the 9, the 6 and the 9, the 6 and the 8, this is where your birthday approaches on all levels. Now, on the other side of this, Sarah Jane Worley, this number is like, it's only halfway as high. And it's like, oh, wait a second. My birthday says Master Angel, Master Wealth, Humanity, Loving Queen, Wizard, and my name is now occupying leadership, fun, and passion. I'm going to work really hard. So we can definitely see that there's a division between church and state here that's probably causing you a hell of a headache. So what I would be suggesting is either we take Jane out or we put a letter in or we go Sarah Jane. We can rebuild this. We can put something fun together. Can we try, I could even put a letter to Sarah Jane. So in case you want to do Sarah Jane V. Worley, if you like having all 3 of them up there, Sarah Jane B, Sarah Jane K, or Sarah Jane T. Worley. I don't mind to start playing around with some of the letters with all of your names. Or if you want, we can take Jane out and then rebuild the name around Sarah Worley. What do you think?
What happens if you take the Jane out?
Okay, so let's take the Jane out. Not a bad look. Jane is a very difficult number to run. And it's a number that says, and this isn't something that we would usually do in a group session. I just know this number very dearly. It says that you love outwardly, but not inwardly. So other people get a chance to experience you, but you don't get a chance to experience your own love the same way. So let's go Sarah Worley. And I would be adding the letter E. So in case you were to do Sarah Worley, I would say Sarah E. Worley, like that. You could also take N or W, like this. Where am I? Sarah N. Worley, or W, N or W, like so Sarah W. How about just Sarah Jane? Almost.
Sarah Jane. I currently have my website. It's set to my whole name.
Yeah, but it also, see, now look at this, guys. So Sarah Jane Worley, right? And it's a www.com. Ooh, yeah, no. How about just .com without www? It works. So I'm just gonna put this here. If you want Sarah SJW Paris, I would put an extra S or an A in there. So SAJW Paris would be the way that I would fix that, just while we're on the topic. But I will do this because you should probably see this. SarahJaneWorley.com. It looks good. It looks good. So I would put a green on this to make sure that we kind of understand that you just don't put the www on it. But this is tough, right? Because Sarah Jane Worley on its own is like, it's gonna give you frustration. But if you start branding around SarahJaneWorley.com, and it's always .com at the end, you say .com, then suddenly we're working with some serious power. I also found Sarah Jane with no H. So just in case that shows up, that would be an easy way to take a brand. Would be a way to do that. But you couldn't ask me to take my name and spell it Bobbi. So just in case you're not really feeling it, I just wanted to at least show you that exists. But you've got an option for some seriously big names in here. Sarah Jane Worley on its own, I would say it's probably not working for you the way we want it to. But it still lines up. Like, this is you're fun to work with. Work gets done. People want to follow your lead. The day goes by really quickly, but you're such a giant. Like, this is you're so magnetic. To be stuck inside of a mechanical name, it's suffocating your level of abundance. And this is like not cool, because I know that you've got a lot of big power in there. And one of the biggest things I would suggest is to create a culture around loving yourself. And, instead of giving it out to everyone and then closing it in on yourself, it's more like, I give my love to me, and then I have more to give to others. I give my love to me, I have more to give to others. Because you are an inspiration of wealth. Like, this is not kidding. And so I'm like very impressed with your numbers, because I'm an 11, and the 6, 9, and the 8 are like big time deals. The biggest challenge you've got is the one in the mirror. That's that feeling here that's always cutting me down. It's always like I'm not good enough, or what do I need to do, or how come this is so hard? And it's always second guessing analytical mind that just kind of beats you up. And then the 3 in there is like, I'm just having fun, no big deal. No, it's all good. It's all good. And you're not really identifying to yourself. And Jane is a big perpetrator of that. So, is it serving you? No. But at least SarahJaneWorley.com works, just so you know.
Okay, cool.
What do you
thank you.
Sarah Jane? And also to add to that, the opposite of lack of self-love would be Sarah E. Worley. Okay, so just so you know, if in case that one were to come out, it serves and satisfies. Like, this is like breathing again, because it's 966 and your birthday says 96 in there. So just so you know, that's a really big one to choose.
Sarah W. Worley.
Sarah W. Worley is more like the combination between the two. It takes the 4 and then it lands in the 6. So part of it is hardworking, but another part of it is connected. The one that reverses the challenge and gets you into mastery would be Sarah E. Worley. And you could even hide and put Sarah with an E at the end. So just in case you were to show up that way. Some of my clients have even done this. Sarah Worley, entrepreneur. And they'd like literally put the E at the end so that you can definitively keep it away from your name and still use it in the vibe. But this is the one that says Queen Mode on. I'm a wizard, I'm a lover, I'm a connected person. I absolutely, and then your biggest challenge will be, I guess your biggest, not challenge, but the focus will now start bringing love really like massively into your life, whether it be financial or romantic, emotional, however that looks. But just so you know, it's a wonderful looking feeling to have that in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Or of course, you know, there's Sarah Jane that looks like this. So just in case you take the H out, but do any of these really call you?
Not yet.
That's okay. What would I suggest? Actually, what we'll do is, okay, so since it still at least works and sarahjaneworley.com works, you've got my safe mode to leave it. But what I would suggest is that you kind of sleep on this, because I know it's really late where you are right now. So it may come to you tomorrow. You can continue watching the replay if you can't keep up. That's okay. But I'll leave it as it is right now, and then that way something will come, perhaps through dream state, wherever it needs to, that will show up for you. Sorry, I'm going to put the H back on there because it at least is aligned. It's not like it's a broken vibe. It's just that it's halfway. The 4 is half of the 8, and you need to be rocking over at the big dog table, because I know that you are, and you have that. So just in case that shows up, you could even take Sarah Jane Worley without the H. Let me just try that real quick. Let's go Sarah Jane Worley. No, sorry, miscalculation.
Okay.
Sarah Worley, Sarah Jane. Yeah, or even Sarah Jane S, or Sarah Jane A, or Sarah Jane J. Those work as well too, just playing around with the name, just to give you a little bit of an idea. But might be a good idea to meditate on this and see what you see. Do you have any questions though, or any observations or any comments?
No, I'm pretty spent. I'm fading fast, so I can't really comment on anything.
That's okay. Next week we're going to do this again for a different time zone, so I've got that available for you before you decide to commit to this one. But cool. I can invite you into that one as well too. Actually, all you can see that again if you want to see what the rest of the side of the team is going to be there. But at least that way, Sarah, you can connect into this conversation when you've got more of your mental energy available.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And thanks everybody for letting me jump in. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. No worries. Yes, Jill, Matthew, and Elizabeth are happy for you. So okay, cool. Appreciate you, Sarah. We'll see you soon. And
thanks. Likewise to everybody. Have a great day. Bye. Bye.
Cool. Okay, so let's hop back up. We play a little hopscotch here. So what we'll do is we're going to go into Jill. And funny, we should mention another Life Path 8. This one looks a little different, though. Now, Jill's looking, your 8s come up from the opposite end of the chart. 3 + 2 + 3 = 8. Whereas we saw in Sarah's, all the bigger numbers came down into 8. So we see in this vibration, we have a Life Path 8, so there's a strong businesswoman side of you. And then there's another side of you that just doesn't get older, like it doesn't age properly. So you're going to stay young, feeling young for a large portion of your life. 2/3 of your life are aging at like 2/3 the rate. So you're not like it just doesn't get older the same way. The same thing we also see, Jill Leslie Forbin, right? It shows up as a 3. So you're fooling people with your age like all the time. Even Jill Forbin Francis, again, the 3 shows up in there, that we see this is like disconnected from the timeline in a very, very big way. So on one side, we're going to have the brains, and on the other side, we're going to have the beauty. Okay, so childhood as being in a child vibe, same thing that Caroline showed up with the 3 and the 8, same thing that you do show up. Noelle says she does look incredibly young. Yeah, you do. I can see that for sure. She's like, thank you. And we see it there. So there's that princess vibe. Then we have a very strong loyalty, a very strong connection to partnership. And that value in there says 2 and 8 show up now to think partner, wealth. I will partner up for wealth. So in case this becomes a strong connection to how you show up for in business, people want to see, wow, if I do this, can I, have the same love and enjoyable creative value as you? Can I look like that if I drink this water, kind of stuff? And the value in there, the 2, is to think, I'm going to partner up with you and I'm going to make money with you. Or the same thing that you would say to them would to be, trust me, follow me. I've got a solution for you. I'm going to be your mentor. So this is not afraid to look up that way. And a lot of people will be connecting with you. You're going to connect to younger people a lot. The next generation of people, they need a sensation of leadership that's also wise. but it also connects in around their energy, vibration, frequency. Now, we also take a look at the vibrations holding around you, and I'm blessed that we get a chance to do this together because they're all in the red. For as powerful and as awesome as you look and feel, there's a strong frustration because this is like, she's got ideas. She's going to get started on a lot of them, but then she's not going to finish very much of them. And then the same thing that happens with Jill Francis, Fortman Francis, you show up on your Facebook, same thing again. I got crazy ideas, but I'm just going to pretend like things are okay when they're really not, and I sacrifice myself for others. And we look towards your birthday, 832-3238. There's a very strong connection between these 8s and these 3s. This is like the value between the brains and the beauty. So we have all these 3s and 8s showing up inside of your chart. What I would suggest is we start to fix this or put something on this because then we look at Jill Francis for a business name. It's not working. This is going to work too hard. I'm going to keep on digging myself a hole or digging even further into myself. This is like a car without brakes. So we want to put something on here that expresses your level of vibration of value and power because we know that you've got power. People are going to be like, how did you do it? And you'd be like, I don't know. I just, you know what, honestly, you just got to see it with the end in mind. But there's a lot of that self-doubt and a lot of that I don't know kind of vibe. And there's a lot of that second guessing myself. And I've never done this before, so I don't know. And a lot of, here you go, other people will become wealthy because of you. And like, you're not expressing it for yourself. I'm like, yo, it's time that we let you express some of that vibration for you, especially being the last life path 8 inside of the group. See if I can't unmute you. So you'll have to unmute yourself. And what we'll do is we're going to rebuild a name. Just to be fair, can I ask you this? Is it Jill or is it Jillian or short for something, or is just Jill is Jill?
It's just Jill.
Boom. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to rebuild this. Now, we can add a letter to Jill Fortman Francis. We can add a letter to Jill Francis. Where would you like to start?
Well, most of my things that I share with people is actually the Jill Fortman Francis. So let's go with that one.
So if you were to add a letter to this, let's just try Jill Fortman Francis. And then I think it might even be the F. But that's not right then because we need the L for Leslie. So let's just try this. Let's go Jill Fortman Francis. And if I were to add something in here, the first one that I would look at would be the initial D, M, or V. So that would show up right here. Oh, it's a little sharp. Hold on a second. So it would be the D, M, or the V. So Jill D. Fortman Francis, or Jill Fortman D. Francis, Jill Fortman Francis with an M in there, or Jill V. Fortman Francis, or Jill Fortman V. Francis. However one of those letters shows up, this is the best of both worlds. Those 3s are they stand for princess or baby love, whereas the 6 stands for queen or womanly love. So there's a very much natural progression. Like you think, what's every princess's dream? To be the queen of her kingdom or queendom, like straight up. She want to be in power. So there's a strong upgrade, but it also takes the 8 with you. And instead of this, I'm not so sure vibe, now we grow into a vibration that says, I've seen it in my mind's eye. I may not be sure, but I definitely know that it's there. There is another one. Sorry, keep going.
I just said I like that.
Yeah, me too. I'm just going to show you the other ones here. So the other ones would be F or X, in case you're like, I'm a wizard through and through. I'm absolutely life path 8. You know, Balaj is life path 8. He was born in December, so he had a 3 and an 8 in there too. But he went for the 898. I'm going to go for the 898. I want to be big time like that. I am big time. I see that. I want to change and shift the world. You know, I'm going to throw away all of my, not throw away, but my partner will hold on to the love vibration. I've got to hold on to the power vibration. That's the F or the X. And then there's also the O, which shows up here, which says, I just want to have fun. I just want to enjoy. The 3s and the 8s come again. So it's almost like these 3s and 8s. It's like you want to have fun. You want to make money. Have fun, make money. And that's like, get that on a t-shirt, like straight up. And like, you know, like that's like the code of like, if you're having fun, it's going to be profitable. And that's like the theme of 2019. It's a challenge. It's tough that this year is almost over because next year is like just and everybody perk your ears up for this. 2020 is get your butt to work year. Okay, 2019 was like, let's have some fun, no big deal, it's all good. So just in case you're liking that vibe, the 3s and the 8s come for you a lot. So you may feel more comfortable in a have fun, make money, right? And like, you know, it's like a slogan. So just in case it's Jill Fortman O. Francis or Jill O. Fortman Francis would show up there. And then more to the serious sides, we have DM or V, bring my love, bring my wealth, or the F for the X, bring my wealth and bring more wealth. And so in case you're going to take a bigger letter like that, we could rock around with Jill Francis as well. So if you want, we can take a look at how that one looks like. Totally up to you. What are you feeling? How you thinking? What's coming to your mind?
Well, I like the idea of having fun and making money. But having love as being a big part of that feels right too. So kind of struggling between those two.
And to be fair, there's a few different types of people here. One will take one name and that's it. Another person will take one name now and then grow into another name later. And then another type of person says, I'll take this one for my personal page. I'll take this one for my wealth. I'll take this one for my legal name. And they kind of just take a buffet of all the different vibrations available. So just in case, you know, I don't want to make you feel like, which one do I pick? If that's the case, I'd say, well, take the O, and at least that way you can get started, and then that way you can keep moving. And if even that alone is like, yeah, but then clearly you should be taking the DM or the V, in which case then you're kind of like showing up on both sides. But you do hold two different vibrations anyway. So this is the one, and if you're like, yeah, I do most of my stuff on here, I'm like, yeah, because it's got the 8 and the 3 in it, because that's like, you know, where you at least have a space to breathe. This one here doesn't quite, like, it just gets nowhere fast. And so I would say you change your business name to reflect this. And yeah, it's not easy to do that. Sometimes you have to start a new business page. So just in case anyone has to go down that road, I apologize, but it's worth it. Especially otherwise you'll find yourself doing business on your personal page, you know, more than you do on your business page. But okay, so does this help, or do you feel like you're still sort of deliberating between which name and number?
I'm still kind of deliberating. Gosh.
Let's try a couple more here. So, are you legally Jill Francis Fortman? Sorry,
Jill Fortman Francis.
So what's your legal name right now?
That's a good question. Because I never really actually changed it when I got married, but like on taxes and things, it's actually Jill Francis.
Okay, so Jill Leslie Francis.
I suppose that would be right, yes.
Yeah, okay. So, but you were born as a Fortman?
That is correct.
Okay, so you're no longer holding Jill Fortman, Leslie Fortman Francis, the 4 names.
Right.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure. So, okay, where does this leave us? So, you're more connected to Francis? Jill L. Francis works as well too.
Jill L. Francis.
Jill L. Francis. Are you able to write some of these out and like you know, take a look and see? Like for me, if you want my personal take on this, I'd say let's try JF. No, how about LF like that? No, Jill L. Fortman Francis. No. I'd like to keep it nice and quick and easy. You don't want to make things too complicated, right? Jill U. No. Jill L. Francis is probably the most authentic, but the most powerful. If you're like, but I don't want to lose one or the other. I'd like to have fun. I want to make love. I want to make money. I want to do all of it. Is there a name that will do that? And that's Jill Fortman V, Jill Fortman M, or Jill Fortman D Francis. Or you could take it somewhere here, Jill D or Jill V Fortman Francis. You know, that this is the vibe that says, is there one that lets me pick them all? That would be the one, or this one, or this one. You could even hide the Fortman and put 2 M's in there, if that feels right. I kind of think it doesn't. There's too many of this. So I would probably say either something like this or something like this or something like this. The V's are pretty popular.
I like the V.
So Jill Fortman, V Francis, or would you put it between Jill and how does that look? I'd say that Jill, this one looks pretty good.
Yeah, I like that better.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's pop this in there. And what about for the business? Do you want to hold a second vibe?
Sure.
Let's do Jill L. Francis, and then that way you can kind of put them both together, and then you can sort of see which one, who knows. In this case, you may see that you're spending more and more time on your business page. And I'd like to think, though, that this is like the key, again, because I love that number. It's like, can I have it all? Yes. Yes, you can. And that's like, I don't, the wizard-like vibration of your life path, the evolution of princess into queen, and also that divine connective of assertion, as opposed to, oh, I don't know, and hum and haw, and you're even doing that over the name. You're like, I don't know, and I don't know. And so it's okay. That's why I'm super patient with stuff. I'm like, she's got the 3. Watch, she's not gonna be able to pick. And but here, that vibration here is like, this feels the safest. It feels the best. And Bobby looks good. Why not? Like, that feeling is there. And it doesn't make you sacrifice anything. So that's why I really like it. But see how this fits. See how it feels as our call continues to move forward. And then we can change it around if you need to.
Okay, awesome. Thank you,
Cool.
Bobby.
You're very welcome. Any comments, questions, observations?
No, when you were going through the numbers, I felt like you were describing me to a T. But other than that,
So numerology works then, I would say that.
I guess it does.
Yeah, I appreciate you for sure. The 8s I work with, we have a lot of fun because you guys just mean business. When that 8 is in there, it's like, what do I need to know? What do I need to do? What are we doing? And that feeling is there. So step into your bigger level woman for sure. It could be a little tough because you got like very darling looking numbers on one side. So we know that there's a part of you that's super boss, and there's a party that just wants to have fun. So this is where we really want to put the 2 together with a really powerful looking name, okay? It's much more fun than just Jill L. Francis, which is very quiet. So just in case you start noticing the difference.
Okay.
Cool.
Very good.
Okay, I appreciate you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mute you. I'm going to unmute. I can't unmute you, Matthew and Elizabeth, if you guys want to do that. Welcome to the page. Welcome to the call. I can't unmute you. So it's okay if you guys want to afterwards, you can.
What's up, Brother Bobby?
Great to see you, man. Absolutely. Thank you for helping me balance out some of the masculine energy on this call, my man.
Man, we're swimming in a sea of estrogen here, aren't we?
Straight up.
Yeah.
And not that I'm complaining, but
no, I have no complaints. But I have 2 daughters. I have no complaints.
I have 2 sisters. My family's a lot of women in my family. I got 2 daughters now too. My dog is a girl. My wife is a lady. So yeah, I definitely feel you on that. I also have lots of feminine numbers in my chart. And we're blessed to do this, guys. This is an interesting take, what's going to happen next, because now we get a chance to do a power couple inside of how this thing works together. So it's nice to see this. We kind of have to do both of these almost at the same time, just because we have both spouses present. But what we'll do is we'll talk about Matthew first. And what we see here, Life Path 9. So the biggest challenge you're going to have is material or ego anything, because you're a big, giant heart. And if someone else is feeling something, you're going to feel it. Then you're born in January, and you've got this angel string, 111, like shows up in the first part of your life. This is going to be, it shows up to me like 911, like 911. And so we have an emergency healer, a superhero. There's a feeling in there that says, I will save you. The I am of January says, you, the planet, I will save you. Mm-hmm. So there's a big vibration of power in there, strong yin yang thing that's happening inside of you. And, we'd like to think that because Matthew Sinclair Hammond shows up as a 9, we're more humanitarian and philanthropic, caring of others, serving and healing and fixing others than you will be of yourself. And you're no longer in your 1 either. So this was he's confident. There's a strong level of confidence in the way that your voice even sounds. So I know that it survived, but at the same time now it's very giving, serving, and caring and loving and giving and caring and serving and loving and giving to others, that it's going to leave you vulnerable, because on one side you're like, I'd love to make that 20K a month stuff, but I just can't get over this fact that I'm going to feel guilty about being, you know, and too much into materialistic wealth. Then we take a look at something like Matthew Mateo Hammond, and this vibration is the anti-wealth. It's like, I don't need any possessions. I just need a mountain. I'm going to go and I'm going to, you know, sit on the top of the mountain and pray. And this is a spiritual warrior. So we would like to think that your music will move people, that when you do stand up, it's with power, but it will take you a while to do that. You won't just stand up for anything. And it'll almost be, and you're holding this vibration. I also noticed that on your Facebook, it says you're born in 48. So that's like, it's like your birthday is wrong on Facebook. So I'm not sure if you did that on purpose or if
I was messing with the algorithm. I wanted them to, you know,
yeah,
geriatric stuff to me.
And so that also has a vibrational effect, because unless you don't spend time on Facebook, if you're like, I don't care, I don't even spend time.
I used to not, but now obviously with the business, I'm getting back into it.
I'm not sure how well you will be able to change your birthday on Facebook, so I think you might be a little bit out of luck there. But all things considered, it does kind of mess with things when you put stuff on there and then you identify through that vibration. So the more time you spend on there, maybe more of a better idea to think about, you know, putting it back to where it is. If it affects you, it does. Names are a lot easier to mess around with because we do that. But I would say that we're very close. You're very, very, very close to like one letter off, either an A or a J or an S. You know, and you're back into the mix. And this is like, you know, think about this way: Matthew Mateo S, or even if it's just Matthew S Mateo, like super authentic. And that way you get a chance to honor, you know, the next name in there. And yeah, Noel's saying S is your original middle name. And that's like, it's so close. So just in case we move with that, I can feel a massive level of uncommunicated frustration here. This is like the Hulk. You don't want to make him angry. Okay, he's very calm. He's very, very connected until it's like a guitar string that snaps and it's like, what? Yeah. Just like, will this explode? And it's just like, yep, it's true. We know, we get it. And don't act like you're innocent. You've got the fives in there. She's going to be a little bit more ready to snap a little bit easier. Okay, so, but there is guilt in there afterwards. So in case you guys do feel it and you're like, I'm so sorry to me to do that. You know how I get with my emotions, and the fives want to come out a little bit. It's fine. But when this challenges wealth. And I remember when you guys were talking to me, you sent me your stuff. It's like this second guessing of the self. And that five is like always fighting of the self. Matthew's just going through it a lot more quietly. And then, you know, we take, and is it always Matthew Mateo Hammond, or do you do Matthew Hammond as well, places like outside of social
media? Yeah, Mateo was, you know, I grew up in San Diego as my nickname. All my Hispanic friends would call me Mateo. And it just became like, and when I was a musician in Austin, Texas, that became kind of a stage name.
Oh, cool.
You know,
they're actually trying to pronounce Matthew. They just can't. They're like,
yeah, it's Mateo. Yeah. It's funny because, I mean, what do you think about, back to my original name, Matthew Sinclair Hammond?
It's missing a letter still. Okay, so it's still missing something, but this is another car without brakes. Like, you don't know when to quit, and you just fight for others, and you will work. And when you're in your creative flow, that is it. And you're just so tunnel vision to it. But the five is like passion warrior. The four is like dedicated builder, and the life path name path 9, it's like an old soul vibe. Okay, like your name path and your life path both say 9, so we know that you care a lot about others more than you'll even recognize your own sense of wealth. Like, it's like, I'm gonna build this so good, and then you build it right past the bank. You're like, I need to make a withdrawal, and like it's gonna be frustrating, and the 4 will be decidedly frustrated. And you're heading into wealth. This is like, your family makes you feel wealthy. Yeah. Your relationship makes you feel wealthy. Your creativity will expand as well. Your business is expanding. So this is part of the journey to think that, you know, you're going to figure something out that will help. And of course, here we go, you bloom too. And now this is like your wealth alter ego, because it actually does work when we see the 628, it literally says God in vibrational numerology. So it's got a very strong vibe into it. We like the way that it shows up for sure. And, you know, it's nice because this needs no alignment. So just in case you want to line something else up, I'd say, you know, what about even just Matthew Sinclair Hammond? Let's try taking Mateo back out and let's see what happens. And we'll go Hammond like that. Okay, how about Matthew Sinclair? Another vibration that says God. So there's a very old soul vibration in there that's dedicated, powerful. Matthew Sinclair is another one. We don't use Matt, so how about just Hammond? Let's go and let's do Hammond. I wouldn't do that, but Matthew S. Hammond works. Like, guys, we're seeing a lot of power in here. Let's just say you took that out and you were to go Matthew S. Hammond. Now suddenly you've got a workable vibration that is like, oh, this feels like I'm no longer punching myself in the spine here. Like I can actually get stuff done. I can build things. I finish what I start. I'm not afraid to work hard. Like the farmer is a humble person, but they still know to harvest. They still know to like, they're not just like, oh, you know, I have a problem with my materialism and it bugs me when people are stuck in their ego, just trying to get rich. And on the other side, I'd love to make $20,000 a month. Like this vibration now says, I've earned it. I deserve it. I'm not feeling guilty about it. I've worked into my sensation of power. But yeah, I'd say that's a really good solid start. You could even play around and do something around, let's try Sinclair Hammond. And you could take like there could be this, where are we? So you'd go like Matthew Sinclair Hammond, and you could put an X or an F. You could also put in an O. You could also put in a Z or an H or a Q. That would also work. Those are fun in the sun. So it's a bit more like, let's bring out that passion and let's just have a good time. But if you want my personal opinion, this isn't a bad vibe to keep things nice and solid and stable and settled. There are bigger vibes that are available though, because this one would be a 426. Inside of the mastery conversation, we'd have to play around a little bit to get there. Like, well, how would that look? Let's just try Matthew, Mateo, Sinclair, just to play with it. No. How about now we put Hammond? No, we'd have to put something else in there. Okay, how about just Matthew Sinclair, B, K, or T, D, M, or V? So there are ways to play with Matthew Sinclair that take you up a little bit higher. Like if you were to do something like this, Sinclair, and then with a B or a K or a T. So Matthew T. Sinclair. But that's a little bit of a deviation from your power. So I'd say the most authentic, when I find something like this, it's kind of like, do you even have a choice? Like that's your name. And this will show up on credit cards. And then on the further side, you expand on top of a foundation name. You expand on a power that says, this is where my business should load into. So this one would be the one I would run with, unless you're feeling called, like, oh, you said something about the Z. If you want to go up a little bit higher, we can. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings around this?
Man, I'm so ready. You know, put it this way. When I was in Austin, I started a record label, and it was, you know, it was supposed to be for my music. It ended up being about all the other artists that I signed. It was all about them. You know, and it was my fault. I mean, I enabled it, you know.
You're there for other people in a really big way. Born on the 11th.
I'm so ready for the breakthrough, brother.
I would say this is going to help you break through, and you'll probably have to revisit this conversation once you start getting into the 6 figures.
Right.
Because this is the one that says, I need to get into the 5 figures a month. And once you do that, you're in the 6 figures a year. So this is the one that builds a stability, structure, and balance. And you're also heading into it. Like that anxiety that we must feel, the thing, I know that it's coming for me. So what am I missing? And this would be the foundation you need. And then it's going to continuously move forward. Plus, Elizabeth, we're about to talk to you in a second here. We have a really powerful looking feeling here. 4, 1 + 1 is 2, 4, 2, 6. If you look at your name, 4, 2, 6, you guys must be married. And that feeling is like, let's connect together. Let's do this. So there's a nice connection space that we're about to get into. You have another operational vibration that we get a chance to use. But we have to fix Elizabeth's numbers as well, because, you know, Elizabeth, you've got a part to play in this, to move it in, right? So
Yep.
Noelle says she has tons of master middle initials possibilities. Let's try this. So first of all, let's take a look at this. When I see 6 and 9, we see a power zone of love. There is a mastery connection in here. So we were talking about angel vibration 111. Then we talk about angel vibration 111. We look at a vibration here that looks like a name, 426, literally looks like a vibration for someone's name, 4116. So your birthday looks like a name. So that's a really big, powerful feeling that we get inside of there as well. And we're looking at this. I love, I care, I support. Also, you're going to be the solid mind here. Okay, so there's a 4 in there that says slow it down. Let's just ease this in. Let's be a little bit more practical, a bit more logical. And Matthew's like, oh God, he got you. And so just in case, she tries to calm things down a little bit, or maybe on the opposite end, you get stubborn as hell. Okay, that 4's like, no, and like digs in. That feeling is in there. Also, we're going to just lightly point out the ego battle between you two. Like, this is like, if we get into a fight, it can be like, fine, slam, and the 1s want to go into their own direction. So that just in case you want to express a bit of your independence, I get it. Matthew will understand this as well. But there was a time for Matthew to lead. There's a time for Elizabeth to lead as well. You both show up as leadership numbers, so it's nice to see that. But there is a harmony. No wonder you guys have a family, okay? There's a reason why you guys aren't like, what are you doing with this business? And this is so stupid. It's like, no, let's build this together. We're going to do this together as a power couple because these numbers work well together. So I like the fact that they show up that way. What is that? 4, 5, 3, and 5. You also hold a divine, I'll show it to you this way. Let's see if I can do this. When I work with someone, I do, I'm just going to go to my latest session here. You have a 2-year gap. So when I look at the cycles between the earth, let's say in this case, it was Laura and Peter, they're 2 years apart. Okay. They're 2 years apart in cycle. The same way you guys show up 2 years apart. Again, we get more soulmate confirmation. So yes, you guys have definitely figured it out. We're going to see that there's going to be power in there, and to know for sure you're going to be able to make money together. That's like the epitome of successful marriage and relationship, is that you grow your wealth together. Okay, so Elizabeth, back to you. So we've got loving, caring, giving, very patient, a little bit frustrated, can definitely be logical, stuck in your head a little bit, but you've got vision, you care about the future, you're good to lead, you absolutely want to stand into your leadership. And like they say, behind the man may be the head, but the woman is the neck. There's a very powerful connection inside of that saying in there. But you also deal with your own inner battle. There's a lot of fighting myself, and I'm going to sacrifice myself for the other. And to be fair, can we just unload this name here? Is this your legal name, or are you actually Elizabeth Ann Hammond?
I haven't taken on his last name, so I'm Elizabeth Metter legally.
Okay, so Ann Metter.
Elizabeth M. Metter?
And
Ann Metter, yes.
Okay, that's fine. And then so on Facebook, you've taken his name. Vibrationally speaking, legally speaking, you haven't.
Right.
And is that a thing, or are you planning on doing that?
We've planned on doing it. It's been a long time.
Yeah, we've only been married for 13 years. Give us another.
Yeah, no worries. It's fine. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? But just to be fair, you don't have to change your name legally to get married to someone. So it's not like you're missing something. But
Right.
In any event, you're still showing up as a Hammond, right? So you still show up married, so it's fine. But to think that right now you are keyed up for a legal name change would be a good time for me to just quickly measure this. And let's just double check and see, is this holding you back? So Elizabeth, other than fighting yourself a little bit, kind of quietly self-destructing in certain ways, I get it. Elizabeth Ann shows up with the same vibration, first name, middle name, as Matthew, just so you can see that sort of showing up again. Inside of a power couple draw out, we would see this kind of stuff. And then you'd go Hammond. Let's see if that would work. Wouldn't work, so don't do it. What about just Elizabeth Hammond? Don't do it. And what about Elizabeth Ann Metter Hammond? Don't do it. Okay, so we have to rebuild the name. So in this case, what's going to happen here? I could add a letter to Elizabeth Metter Hammond. I could take out Metter and still add a letter, but either way, it's going to add a letter somewhere. How about Elizabeth A? No, don't do it. How about Elizabeth M? No. AM, that would work. Elizabeth A.M. Hammond would work. Elizabeth Ann M would not work. Help me out here. How do we
Try the AM.
AM? Okay, so try this on. AM. This is actually not bad. This one looks pretty good. So AM, or in your case, you could actually take AM Hammond, right? And it would look like this. So now we have a vibration that's very authentic, because on every other option doesn't include your original letters at all. So in case this is the one that shows up, philosophical, quiet, connected, a little bit reserved, a bit more deeper in thought, not as fighty to the self, because Elizabeth is a very quiet vibe, but you've got this fire that's kind of burning you up inside. And also your middle name, Anne, is also a very strong angelic vibration as well, just so you know. But when we take a look at the 178, we see a vibration here that actually works really well. And it's kind of like this, you take the front, I'll take the rear. I'm going to build this I'm going to put in the hard work effort, and you're going to sort of like watch and see the distance and really sort of see the vision in a really strong way. So it's nice to see that when both of these sort of come together into a 628, it looks like a divine level of harmony. What's further, if Matthew gets his letter, why shouldn't Elizabeth get hers? Like, this is one of those options where you could actually put a dot there. Some people ask me, do you put a dot? You don't have to. I do. I don't, and it is my middle name. Some people do, and then it has not, like Balazs puts a dot in there, and it's nothing to do with anything other than the letter W. So in your case, you could take that. You could even just go AM or AM or AM like that, but it would work. It's got a nice authentic feel to it. But if you want, we could keep going. I think Elizabeth.
That means that I'm quiet and I'm more like watching. Is that what you're saying about it?
It's more like you observe and then you hit the bullseye. So it's like, okay, let me just see. And then next thing you know, okay, I've decided, and boom. And then whereas Matthew S. Hammond is going to be more like measure, cut. Okay, quickly put it together, and a bunch of different moves. You're watching, and then one move. So it's a lot less action. And Noelle's like, kind of describes you, eh? So it might not be a bad place to be, right? But man, Noelle, your commentary is epic. I appreciate it. You're like the voice inside of my head. I appreciate it. Yeah, when she strikes gold. So I'm not sure if that kind of like picks you out, or if you're thinking, I want something a bit more communicative, because these ones, these fours, and these sixes, you do have communication. So we know that you want to speak up, but it's totally up to you. The only problem is we'd have to move some things around. Like, would you consider Liz or Beth or Eliza or something like, you know?
Right. I mean, I've been going by Liz for a really long time, but I thought I would change it to Elizabeth.
Want to try it on?
I want to be able to communicate better, because I often feel like I'm too quiet and like I don't communicate enough.
Sure. I'm just gonna try this one. See, now on the opposite end, let's just play with this for a second, okay? This is like, we're having fun. Liz A. Hammond. Boom. Now you jump into the mega master version of you. So just in case that one's like big time, and you're like, yeah, you know what? I want to, again, same thing. I don't need to say very much, but when I say I strike gold. This one's like, I'm going to strike through everything all at once. And then Matthew's going to recognize I got a very powerful woman by my side. But Liz A. Hammond is like, you can't get any higher than that. So just in case that shows up, how about we go Liz Ann? No. How about Liz Metter Hammond? No. Ann? No. Just trying to see if we got anything cool in there. But how about Liz A.M.? No. Ann M? No. Cool. Okay, so you got both of these. This one's definitely more communicative, but there's a price you pay. And at the same time, Matthew's really holding the bar for us in that case. But this is an easy way to take both. But you could show up to think, you know, I'll show up Elizabeth A.M. Hammond here. It's okay to be quiet. You still communicate. The difference is that you listen a lot. You're very aware. And then when you communicate, you strike gold, and people will feel that you're actually very much paying attention to them. This one's like, okay, I've heard enough. I'm gonna tell you what you need to, and
Yeah.
like, you know, and so just in case you want to just strike that out. But we see big numbers like this. This is like a long-term journey. But yeah, Liz A. Hammond, is that the one in the running? Yeah. Noelle's playing with my app, so she's kind of cheating. But yeah, I just to be fair, anyone who downloads my app, it's extraordinary power. I very, very much don't just go willy-nilly on this. You would be very recommended that if you're using my app, that you consult me and just let me know, because the last thing you want to do is like, hey, well, this one's got a lot of money in it, let me take this, and the next thing you know, you're feeling broken and like everything is ripping to shreds. And I'm like, that's what that name will do. It'll rebuild you. And in order to rebuild, you got to break a few eggs if you want to make an omelet. But yeah, no need to be sorry, Noelle. Absolutely fun app. I love it. It's in its infancy stages. If you guys download it and post a picture of you using it, I'll enter you in a draw to win my $2,600 program. It's the numerology mastery course. So there is a benefit in there for sure to use it. But I'm still testing it and we're still breaking it. But yeah, the app is like a godsend. It's only on iPhone right now.
Yeah, we downloaded it actually before the session.
Yeah, but we don't. It says that we have to book a session with you. Like we couldn't get through.
If you go to learn more, when you go back to the original page, I don't have a screenshot of it, but right in there, there's like no cursor on it. It's super weird. It's been reported to me already that it's not as clear. But in that one space before you say learn more, you can start adding letters together and you can delete them and stuff too. So
Okay.
yeah, but definitely you can use it. But just post a picture of it and give me a 5-star review, even though it probably doesn't earn one yet, and you'll be entered to win the contest. So I'll make sure I put you guys in the group.
Well, you deserve a 5-star review. Yeah.
Boom.
Right.
You heard it. Come on, Apple. You heard it, guys. He said it here first. So I appreciate you for that. Cool. So any questions, Liz, Elizabeth? What do you think?
How do these names feel for you?
Yeah, I mean, I like both of them actually, so I don't really know which one.
I would say go easy on yourself, personally speaking. Go Elizabeth A.M. Hammond, and make sure you've got your business fan page set up as Liz A. Hammond, or you use your username. So you're going to create like you have to, inside of the deeper stuff, you can use Liz A. Hammond, like this, inside of that could show up, right? So you could use that as a tag, or your Instagram or your email, and then once it starts to really kick in and take on, because again, guys, we're looking at having a list of things that my clients line up with me. It's not just one name. So just in case you're like, oh, I could probably use that there or there or there or there or there, it wouldn't be a bad idea. And to think that you've got places you can grow into. So just in case this one brings it in now, and this one kind of switches in when you're at that 6 to 7 figure conversation, once you guys have made it, not a bad look.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Yeah.
You're very, very welcome. I appreciate you guys. Okay. So yes, and would be loving to have that conversation. It's nice to have that power couple session. Okay. So cool. Let's keep going. Okay.
Right.
So Nishay, are you with us?
Yay.
On YouTube?
Yes, but I'm totally nervous and my heart is pounding.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you too. I actually wanted to quickly say that I was born Jean Nishay Hilton, but I go by Nishay. My whole life I have.
Yep, that's fine.
But also my father took on his stepdad's last name. So it's actually Norman is my real true last name. I don't know if that means anything.
But when you say real true, you mean like on your birth certificate or what?
No, my birth certificate is Hilton.
Yep.
But my father, when he was a young kid, his dad died. So he took on his stepfather's last name, which is Hilton.
So you could have been a Norman.
Yes.
That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. But you were, and then you married into Warren.
Yes, I did.
Okay, cool. All right, that's fine. So it's interesting how this thing comes in. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. There's like an underground road that was never built. That you have this extra set of vibration that you never got, but the winds of fate and time moved you into a vibration like this. And for all purposes, I mean, that's super intense.
Yeah.
The big level 9 and the small level 1 connecting to both, it's a challenging number. Like, you know, you're in the part of the world where this means something. And so when we see a vibration like this, again, this is the same thing that Matthew is dealing with, that 9 over double 1, or that 9 over 1, you will run to the aid of people in such a huge way that is like it's a superhero vibration. But the problem is that, you know, Spider-Man takes this number and he can't make his rent. He gets kicked out of his apartment. He can't keep the relationship, and he is caught serving everyone else, because it's with great power comes great responsibility. The responsibility is the I am. The great power is your huge heart. Like, and it's funny how you call yourself Nashe Lightseed. I'm like, no kidding. It's like the universal power focused into a single being. This can create a complete discordance with your nervous system. So no wonder if you're feeling that, like, anxiety, like, I don't know why do I feel like I'm having a heart attack here? The feeling is in there is because you're identifying with this massive level power energy, and it's basically coming into you. So my heart goes out to you, because we appreciate everything that you do for us as a species and as a, you know, on behalf of all humans. But I'm here for you. I'm here for your power. So we have to help you get with it and get back to it. But look at numbers. Like, you've got, it's the same thing that Sarah was dealing with earlier. You're a big news, big ticket kind of gal. So we see this life path 6, very loving, very caring, super giving, always going to take care of other people before you take care of yourself. Taking care of yourself, oh my gosh, that's so selfish. Like, I would never do that. And that, but that's an ego on its own. The 1 would be like, I would never. The 9, you know, rules, I'm going to take care of everyone. And then we see the 6 show up and says, loving, caring mother, super loving and loyal in the family. You know, even the way you speak, you're responsible in your voice. Then we take a look at May. Wasn't always responsible. Okay, there was a time when you wanted to see things and do stuff and figure stuff out, and hopefully you got a backpacking in here and there and got a chance to travel a lot in your life, because that 5 in there shows up with the fire. Then comes in the difficulty through relationship. So just in case you're going through stuff or have to experience an extracurricular level of learning through love or through partnership, or figuring out why is this supposed to be so hard, or whatever it is, it's a challenge. But when we see these numbers 6, 11, and 8, we get that vibration of God. So while you may have had to fight through yourself a little bit, there is a value of mentor. There's a value of coach. You're going to be there for people in a very big way that helps them. The 6 says, I grow you. The 11 says, I don't let go of your hand. And sometimes we have to go into the fire and pick people up who are burning alive, and we get burned in the process. That's the 11. But there is a wizard-like power to your love. So I would say heart-focused communication, growing your sense of self-worth is massive, huge. We have to have that, because if you don't love and give and believe to yourself, it's going to come across to people when they're trying to figure out whether this opportunity is for them or not, and they're probably going to fall off of it because that self-love mechanism is missing. Now, it could be showing up in Jean or Nashe. You know, my son holds his middle name. That I did that for a specific reason. I should take a look at that, because that's mention worthy. Let's just go for Nashe real quick. 674. Okay, so when I look at the number 674, 7 is a G, 6 is an O, and D is a 4th letter in the alphabet. So there's a very strong connection to you being an old soul, bigger soul type of woman. We have to understand that that's there, but definitely would be a very interesting conversation to have with you privately. Working with your numbers, we see a combination of lover and a fighter, angel and a wizard. So we have to really respect all of those, which means I'm going to make lunches for my kids. I'm going to wake up early and go for a run. I'm going to take all of these learning lessons and, you know, get into the everything is as it is for a reason, and everything is happening as a part of the bigger level cosmic divine. And then this 8 says, I am destined for wealth. So in case you're like, well, then where is it? That's going to cause a massive level of frustration and anxiety to think I should have it right. But you also have a really big challenge to chew on before you break through that challenge you have to go through. So when we're working together, I would say, let's fix this. Let's move this thing up, and let's talk about what we got here. So I'm going to give you a letter. Unless you want to rebuild your name, let's just try a few. I'm going to see if I can find anything like super cool in here. So just seeing it, I'm going to move this over here. Nashe Hilton Warren shows up as an option. Let me just color this black so you can see it. So it shows up as the most massive piece of you available. We could start playing around with letters. If I play around with letters, what do we got? We have D, M, or V. No, E, F, or X. So Nashe X shows up here, X or F. And then we also have F, right? What was that? We had an O. Again, Nashe O Warren shows up here. Okay, so there's a massive power of global vision. Like God came down to this planet to do some stuff, and you're an absolute walking, like working model of God vibe. So it's not a bad thing to look. If you're like, yeah, can I just be a human being here? Like, I don't know about all this light seed stuff. And like, why do I have to change the whole world here? Can I just change my world first and have some fun here, for Pete's sake? This would be the vibe to choose to be going on it. We could also play with Nashe Jean, just in case. What's this one? So you're legally Jean Nashe Warren?
Yeah.
Okay, what about it? No, don't do it. That says Angel. So yeah, I would probably suggest that this money you paid in here is best used as an investment to talk to me privately, because that name is probably not serving you either. So just in case you're feeling the strain, this is ultimate sacrifice. Like, I'm just gonna give everything I have to the other, and that can feel a bit frustrating for sure. Like my sense of self is being challenged or shifted. But how are we feeling
Are
here?
we talking about the Jean?
Jean Nashe Warren.
Okay.
So just so we know, your legal name right now is not good, and it wasn't good either when you were born. Whether we look at Norman or not, I mean, I think it's a little bit past now. But I would say this is the fun road. This is the hard road. This is the one that says, I just want to enjoy myself. Let me just get to 4A. I'm not trying to break the bank right now. And then when you are trying to break the bank, the X turns into the O, and then, ready to rock. Same thing that happened with Liz. It was like, yeah, it's going to be fun right now, and then I'll step into my big level power. Same thing you can do with, what about Nashe Jean? Did we see that one already? I think we did. Yeah, this is not very much to talk about there. But you could take Nashe Jean M, Nashe GV, or Nashe D Jean. It's hard to even say. When I get tongue-tied, I'm like, don't go there. But we could talk about.
I lost the Nashe and just did Jean.
Okay, that's a good call. What if we just went Jean Warren? Let's just take a look.
Because I have an accent aigu over the E, and I can't use that usually, like on Facebook. And
I hear you. Where are you?
If that means anything.
Let me see here. Because if you were to go Jean Warren, you'd still need something like a J or an S. But there, you could also use, I'd say it would look like this. Where are you? So it looks like you've got two roads to go down. Like all of these numbers either are fun and fast or let's change the world. So unless you're planning on going somewhere super, super powerful, you may want to just cool it for a minute and take something a bit easier to deal with. And then that way you can get there. Or you can just say, you know what, I've been hiding for too long. This is enough is enough. I'm ready to get this thing moving. Nashe Hilton Warren. It's like it strikes in. And in case, Noelle, you've got something powerful to share with us, I'm just going to share my app inside of the group because I have it. It's called Bobby F. Parihar Numerology. We're going to change it, but just in case you want the link for it, Kayla, it's in there. Okay. But,
yeah, I'm done with hiding. So whatever name is not, is the opposite of hiding.
Well, this is definitely not hiding. The Jean J, or what was the other one we had? It was Nashe
Hilton Warren.
F or X Warren, right? Like let's say Nashe F Warren or X Warren. Definitely, it's not hiding. It's fun, fast, friendly, creative, ambitious, powerful. Let's get started. Let's just go for a run. This one's like, give me the highest cliff to jump off. I'm ready to spread my wings. So, you know, it really, because like if you're like, I got all this anxiety, that can be seen in two different ways. One side, it could say, I've got all of this stuff. I'm ready to blow like a gun, or I've got a lot to deal with, and maybe jumping off a cliff might be a bit of a big situation right now. Let me just enjoy a run around the field before I spread my wings and learn how to fly. I should learn how to run first, like walk before you can crawl kind of thing. Or no, the other way around. Crawl before you can walk. This one's like fly and go into time space before you do anything else. So, you know, it begs the question, are we dealing with like a big level passion that you have? Like what are you doing on this planet?
You know, I'm feeling called to become a channel. I've been wanting to do that since I was a little girl.
Nishay X Warren is kind of like, yeah, never mind. I don't need to do that anymore. Whereas Nishay O Warren and the Nishay Hilton Warren is like, I am like the top channel. Like it's literally like I have the vision of the globe. So you just like focus in on there and you'll automatically know. And it will be so connected. But it really strengthens on the sense of self and ego. So in case you're like, I've been wanting to do this since I was a kid, it kind of begs the feeling that thinks, if you don't do this, you're going to be it's going to cause you a massive level of depression. But at the same time, it's such a price to pay. So everything that you know will probably come crashing down, and then you'll have to sort of rebuild it. What are we, 7, 8, 9, 1? Perfect time to take Nishay O or Nishay Hilton. So just in case you're like,
what if it was just Nishay Hilton? Just super quick.
Okay, let's try it. Let's do it, and let's just see here. And I should have commissioned Noel to help me with this because I'm kind of doing this here. I would say Nichelle Hilton. Let's try it. Just go Nichelle Hilton. I would be putting an E in there. You could also put a G in there, Nichelle G Hilton. So that one, again, looks good, but no spirituality involved. If you want the spiritual version, I would be putting the letter E, Nishay E Hilton. So just in case that kind of picks at you, it would be right here, be Nishay E Hilton, like that. And then I'll just quickly make it easy to see. Then it holds. If you're talking about channel, it's surrounded by love and business. So your channel vibration now is something that you hold as a divine space inside of you. Intelligence is working, intuition is broadcasting, and heart is loving. So the hug is there. So just in case that one starts to show up as well, definitely not a bad look. And it's easy because now this one's like, oh, finally somewhere in between where I can still have fun, still enjoy, still be big time, but not leave myself. And, you know, and now suddenly we enter a new conversation about really unloading that level of channel. And no wonder you want to be a channel. Look at those numbers we were just describing. There's like God vibe everywhere. So be careful. You turn that channel on, and next thing you know, you got to be worried about being an empath. And like learning how to take a spiritual bath is a big idea. So just so we know, that's like a big deal.
Wow.
What are you thinking? What are you feeling? How is this affecting you?
I'm trying to figure out my life. Yeah, I think I'll stay with the Warren. Yeah, I don't really know what to say.
Let's just see what we can do here. I'm just gonna try Nishay Jean Hilton Warren. Nishay Jean Hilton Warren, right? Okay, so in case, I know this is a big deal, this is a big name, but Jean Hilton Warren also works, but then it's just so long.
Yeah, heavy. Yeah,
it's really heavy. It does work really well, but I can appreciate why you'd say that. It's just too much. So if you're going to stay with Nichelle Warren, can we put the G in there? No. We would put the M in there. No, it wouldn't work. How about the E? Okay, so here's what we'll do. let's do them both just for now. Let's go X here, just like to say X marks the spot. Let's do that, and then on the other side we'll go Nichelle Warren with an O, just in case you want to put that there and you want to see what that looks like and feels like. Then you're holding on to both at the same time, and then at least that way we get a chance to see how they both feel. But if you want my opinion for Nichelle Lightseed, I would be putting a C or an L in there, which kind of messes up the vibe of what that thing means. So it does, because it's the brand. It says, Lightseed, but the channel vibration would be Nichelle L Lightseed or Nichelle C Lightseed, right? So
Wow.
that one feels really good.
Mm-hmm.
Just right here, like this, Nichelle C Lightseed. Okay, so, and I've seen people do stuff like this as well too. So just in case you're like, now there's something, that might not be a bad vibe to look forward to either, because that one now shows up with intuition up front, this wizard-like vibe that's ready for a solution, and the love, which is the magnetism and the electromagnetic vibration. So it's like it really expands your vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. And that might even, because now suddenly you're using words like and beautiful, and that might even be a bigger version of you to be like, I think I like this one. Or even like, how does the L feel? Or do you like
I think it's great. I mean, I'm definitely kind of staring over at the X and the O. They're both very powerful.
They are. Let's just fix that conversation too. Sorry, keep going. Here you go. See, now this feels right. This feels really solid. Like, get me started and keep me going. And then perhaps maybe, I think the L was a bit tough, but Nichelle C Lightseed, it's almost like C for like a seer, like, to like that you can see through the light. Might not be a bad superhero. And then this really looks like Goldilocks. Too small, too big, just right. And all of them sort of come in together. And if you want, what I'll do is I'll open up for questions in a couple of minutes, and then we can go back in if you feel like you want to revisit this in some way, shape, or form, okay?
Beautiful.
Cool. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. It's an honor to read your chart. I feel like we should bow to you in some way. Like,
oh no. Oh.
I know. And the 6 would be like, don't. Because like, I don't know. I'm very humble, but you can't fake these numbers. When you see, I remember feeling this way when I met with Noelle. It was like, there's some power in here, and we have to recognize power where power's due. So I appreciate you so much for being here with us. But even this thing says cosmic and then angel. And so we have emergency responders. So there's a big idea that you came here to do something extraordinary, which means that part of you is listening to the cosmic, and a part of you is holding the planet. So you as that channel, it's more like a spiritual conduit for cosmic electricity. So it's nice to see that, especially with Nichelle C Lightseed, everything ties back in. And it doesn't feel like you're choosing one way or the other. Beautiful. Thank you. You're very, very welcome. Okay, Kayla, you've been absolutely patient. I appreciate you for being here with us. Where are you? Can I find you? Hello. Hey, how's it going? It was nice and light when we started our session. Now it's all dark in here. Yeah. In the dark now. So I appreciate you for being super patient with us. How you feeling?
Good.
Cool. So you must have noticed that your numbers are very intense looking for your birthday.
Yeah. I had a small reading on that before on my birthday, and I know it's a very intense numbers because I'm 111 8 8 9, those 11s and 9s. So I've had a small reading on my birthday before.
Okay.
And I know it's really intense.
Yeah, and I can imagine because I know this Elizabeth vibration, it's like an inward bomb explosion. So that you got a lot of this unexpressed anxiety energy that will just be nice and calm on the surface, but it can feel like like people are pouring the energy into it. So we'll take a look at this. My heart goes out to you being the other life path 11 other than myself and Noelle. You go through a lot. It's gonna be intense when it comes to relationships and partnerships. It's going to feel like you have to learn so much more about them, but it's because you have to help people through them. So look at what happened to me. I ended up, can't remember how many times I looked at myself being high on like 4 different drugs at the same time, wondering, is this it? Is this how I die? And like wondering if I'm going to be like, because I had such a negative relationship with myself, with others, with things, and it challenged me in such a huge way. I was so disconnected from my human body. And, you know, to see this vibration here, my heart goes out to you, because I also had the 819. So I know what Kayla Elizabeth Umacher is going to feel, that feeling of other people experience the best of you and you don't even see how awesome you are. And then when we look at the challenge here, it's the same story. It's like, I just give to others. I don't have the ego. I have to help other people. I'm going to be this, like, you're born in an 1111 vibration. So you should set your alarm for that every day, twice a day, so that you can just be like, what's up? And just know that you're connecting to an angel vibration. But it's funny how we come to your numbers, especially after we looked at Nisha's. These 11s start to really circulate, and a lot of us have them. So just to be fair and be sure, go easy on yourself. And the best relationship you'll ever have is the one that you have with you. But it's tough because you're in this 9/11 vibration for the rest of your life. There's no changing that. So this is intense. Just in case you feel like you have to stay away from people in a certain way sometimes, I get it. It's not easy, but we're going to make it a little bit easier for you. So we're going to move this thing over. There's a massive level of energetic intensity that you have to deal with. So just know that half the time, you're not even dealing with your own stuff. Okay, so just empath level 1000. So we have to recognize that you're absorbing spiritual, cosmic, and humanitarian energy, and it's like giving me like a tightened feeling right above my diaphragm, and that's like right where my own little universe sits. So I'm like lovingly taking this energy from you to just process as much of this as I can. But I knew this was going to happen to me. I like 3 hours before we started, I started feeling this, like, you're going to need a nap after this. And I'm like, okay, I just want to serve these people. I love these people. I want them to be successful. I want them to be, you know, wealthy. And I'm feeling a lot of this, like, I don't like myself. I don't know myself. I can't do it. And it's all being like inundated over me. And I'm like, bring it. Because I know as a Life Path 11, I will be the light for you all in dark places. So Kayla's like right there with me. And it's funny because Elizabeth, same vibration as the one that I was born with. So another conversation I'd love to have privately once we can get to that place. This investment you've made would be very well suited into a conversation between us. And just so you guys know, I do offer payment plans. I have people who owe me from last year, and I'm like super patient. I'm like, doesn't matter. Let me just work with you now. Success is a journey. It's not a destination. We have to grow together. But Kayla Elizabeth, you got no breaks. And this is like, you know, running over itself in a lot of ways. Like, you're very much like go, go, go and never stop. And these ones that show up in your chart it's like you put a blindfold onto yourself. So this very, very humble thing that you've got going on, it's not serving you in a very big way. So we should put something together here. I'm not sure if you're feeling Umacher, or did you get married and take a new last name? I'm not sure how that works.
No, so the story with my last name, it's pronounced Umacher, and no one has ever pronounced it correct my whole entire life. And I've always, my parents are divorced, and my mom's last name is Durham. And even since I was a little girl, I was like, I just want your name because everyone knows how to say it, and it's so easy. So I've always had this disconnection with my last name because no one can pronounce it correctly, and it's always bothered me. So these recent years with all this business stuff going on, I've just cut out the last name, and I've just been Kayla Elizabeth, or I've had the fitness part just on like my Instagram. So I just had a disconnection with it for that reason.
Okay, so because you could even use Kayla Elizabeth U, but Umacher.
Umacher, yes.
There you go. Okay, cool. So second time's a charm. What's up? But okay, so I get it. So Kayla Elizabeth Umacher. And I would appreciate, for me, it's like, it's tough because people are like, Paharihu, and I'm like, it's just Parihar. And even, it's not even pronounced that way. I mispronounce my own last name. So I'm like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just call me Bobby. It's fine. But I can appreciate that. Okay, so let's take a look at this. one word or version of you would be Kayla Elizabeth Yu or Kayla Yu Elizabeth. So you do have authenticity available for you. We could also take C or no, we're not going to do that. We could take A, or you could take J or S, just in case you wanted to move your vibration around a little bit more of an easy, fun going and super communicative. If you like the spiritual vibe, you'll go for the U, but we could also play around with Kayla Liz or Kayla Beth, or messing around with Elizabeth. You know, I'm not, I'm paused to think that we would choose Umecker to play with. I'm not sure if you'd like to take a look at what that looks like. Just gonna, okay. No, it doesn't work anyway. So you're not missing anything. If it worked really well, I'd be like, uh-oh, what are we gonna do now? Because now we've got a chance to choose your last name. But in this case, it's not like it's gonna help. So what else do we got? Kayla Elizabeth Fitness, dead in the water. It's not gonna, this is a non-communicative vibe. If you wanted to fix it and be super subtle, I do this. Kayla Elizabeth's Fitness, or Kayla Elizabeth A Fitness, or Fitness A would be running it back into power. You could also even take the letter H, Q, or Z, which doesn't really make sense. But as
I
this
would just
one,
remove the fitness part.
pardon?
I would just remove the fitness part.
Yeah, I would say that you're more keen to do something like that, and continuing with this vibe of business into cosmic, or frustration into passion, would be the letter U, into spiritual into business, or intuition into business, just in case that kind of shows up a little bit better. But any thoughts on that, or on any one of these letters?
Yeah, I like the U because that is my last initial of my last name. So to keep my name.
So would you rather see it Kayla Elizabeth U or Kayla U Elizabeth?
Well, I like it that way just because it's like a middle initial, although my middle name it would be opposite, but I like the way that looks better than Kayla Elizabeth U.
Cool. Okay, I like it too. And just in case you wanted to play with it, Kayla Elizabeth U is kind of like calling it like a university. So just in case you mentor, coach, train, or help people, Kayla Elizabeth U is like, it's not a bad feeling in there either. But I would definitely make a move around how this shows up in all different places, shapes, and ways in your life. So Instagram, the handle, everything, it has a very strong connection to who you are. It's validates the Umecker vibration, and then that way you can at least use it. So that, and at the same time, it's very subtle in its shift, and it's very soft spoken in its vibe. So it's not a bad look to run with a vibration like that. And I like it. So in case you're feeling it, let's keep it the way it is for both.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, guys. So we've done it. We've gotten here to it. It's been a ride. I appreciate you guys so much for doing this with me. I'm just going to spend the next couple of minutes putting this together in case anyone's got questions, comments, or you feel like you want to go back, or you want to ask about something else. Perhaps maybe you've got another name. If you're watching the replay and you're no longer with us here, then absolutely you can just message me. It's no big deal. I am going to be giving you guys reports for 2020. When I work with someone, I give them this book that's like everything to do with you. And so it's like the textbook of you. I sell them for $55 a piece in case anyone wants to get some for your kids. They also come in compatibility reports too. So you get one that's going to be your 2020 report. You're also going to get included inside of the numerology alumni. I have a chat, but it's full. So apparently you can only add like 200 people to a chat. It's weird. I didn't have the group at the time, but my numerology alumni, every month I do a monthly webinar. I'm going to be doing the parent alignment. Oh my God. It's like so freaking epic. This is a no cost webinar. And I'll be lining up your children's names just like I did like you guys. And you guys get a chance to see why your kids are so crazy, or why they're so quiet, or what's wrong with them, or what's going on with them, or how to serve them, support them. it's going to be so freaking epic. And it's included with that. So I will put you guys into my private community. And just to be fair, once it gets to 1,000 people, I'm going to start charging to be part of that community. So you guys get in for free and forever, for life. But it is my private community I'm going to show for you guys. Also, I wanted to talk about working with me privately. So I'll put this over here. This is for you kids. Thank you guys so much for being part of this. I appreciate you so much for this. You guys are a lot of fun. So usually I work with someone. It's 60 minutes, 90 minutes, and then there's a 3-hour session. So it's 180 minutes, right? And usually they're 268, 333, and 764 to work with me. Inside of a 1 hour, we go over your name and your birthday. Inside of an hour and a half, we also go over your cycles. Inside of a third session, we would also start talking about alignments that are happening inside of your business, inside of your relationship, inside of your past, the healing, all that stuff. So Noelle was part of the numerology, like the mentorship coaching, and it was so much fun, and it was just awesome. I just wanted to say that Bobby's longer program is really thorough. You can go through every area of your life and business, dialing in your website names, page names, etc. Highly recommend. Hard emoticon. I did the 3-hour session. So yes. Kayla says, can you explain to me again what the 718? Reserved, calm, independent, not really seeking for approval, and connection to your wealth. So this is where your ego comes back out, and it's also connected to your reservation and to your wealth and to your business. So yes, you can also nail down those ideal dates for launches. I had to write these out for me. These are my dates. So tomorrow is an alignment date for me, and it's a huge deal to have everything working in power. I create this list for you so you know. We also go into this, which is to talk about what we're going to see next year. 2020, hardworking year. What year will you be in? What's the combination of that? How do we enter those two numbers together? So just so you guys know that that's there. But yeah, so instead of doing this, it's going to be minus $111. So this will be $157. This will be $222, and this one would be $653. Sorry, I was trying to do some math there. But you guys get a discounted rate, okay? And this isn't going to expire. This isn't like get it done now, and and I get it. Sometimes we feel like we have to put things off, and in case you don't, because I do offer payment plans. In which case, if you have to pay me later, then it's $300, $400. Or 900, and then the same thing applies. We're going to take off minus 111 from every single one, and then that way you can just hold a tab with me and pay me $20, $30 a week, $50 a week, whatever you can afford. But the main goal is that we cover through all of this, because doing this with you guys, it's not fair to think that just a single name. Some of you guys didn't need the letter, and we had to actually go through this in a much deeper level. And to think that it's been 3 hours and it didn't feel like it, we definitely worked through it, but I'd love the opportunity to work with you guys long-term and to move things in together. Usually a 90-minute couple session is really powerful. I do my power couple here, but to have this is a very, very powerful feel. So I'd love it. I'd love some feedback. Since you guys are all here, I noticed that you guys have started to put your new names on Zoom. It's something that I usually don't do. I usually do. I didn't do it in this session, but Jill Fortman V. Francis, Magdalena A. Seleska, very, very strong that you guys identify this way. Just so you know, you show up to Zoom for wealth. You show up to Zoom to make money and to be there with your clients, to be there on webinars, team calls. It would be very powerful to take this name at least on your business page, wherever it shows up. If those of you who are needing snapshots or taking screenshots or wanting to know that these are the places that you show up, maybe you see it on the recording, but to know that that Zoom is in there, to make sure you show up in there for sure. I can't figure out how to change the name on Facebook. It's tough. I actually have a video that I made on my YouTube, so I'll share the link with how to do that. It's in the About. So you go into the About and you can change it there in your Facebook fan page. Otherwise, and even then, sometimes it doesn't work. So I've had to change my new thing there. So Matthew says, how do you devise the numbers associated with their names? Well, I'd be giving away all my secrets, bro. Just kidding. I'll give it to you right now. It's called Pythagorean numerology. So I didn't create it. Okay, this is like old stuff. And what we do is we take the vowel of your name and we put it in the first digit. Then we take the consonant of your name, we put it in the second digit, and then we add the two together for the third. So in case you guys are feeling like you want to reinvent the wheel and do this on your own, please be careful. This is super, very powerful. And we go through each and every single one of them inside of each and every single one of your names. So to know that it's showing up the way it needs to is a really powerful deal for me. But yes, this is how I devise the names is we basically look at the 3-digit code. And then I look at the 3 digits inside of your birthday. We start to paint a picture and paint a story about you. And then, yeah, that's basically how we do it. So cool. All right. I wanted some feedback. What I really wanted to get was from each of you. This helps me out. This helps me out huge, is to get one thing I did well and one thing I could work on, or one thing I should have done, or one thing that you didn't like, or one thing I can improve on. The one thing I did well, that's for my ego. Okay. That's like, Bobby, you're great. It's like Matthew's like, I would give you a 5-star rating, bro. But I do have some thoughts. And if you could give me that, that's where I grow. So what I'll do is I'm going to put a water gun to your head and we're going to talk about this. What we'll do is I'm going to pull everyone up. Let's see, manage my participants. So Kayla, you're unmuted. You first. One thing I did well and one thing I could do better.
Oh Lord. I guess one thing while explaining how our names work, with like when you were going through, oh, this is super powerful, or this means all the things you were saying with the A, the JS, the U, that type of thing. Although I didn't write it down, I forgot because there was so much stuff going on, but I liked that portion, I thought was well. And one thing you could do better, I guess maybe just because I was unclear of what the 718 meant and the 819 next to my first name, maybe just explaining those numbers better because I was unsure what those meant.
Okay, I appreciate that. So a little bit more understanding on what the other numbers meant around the sides that didn't work so well?
Yeah.
Cool. I appreciate you. Thank you. And just so you know, when I learned numerology, it literally was reinventing the wheel. Like we wrote out, we counted every single one. There were so many mistakes. Like it was crazy. And I'm like, can I use a calculator? I need to make an app. So, going back into understanding how it works, definitely powerful to understand. Now I look at numbers. I'm like, oh, 6 + 5 = 2. People are like, what are you talking about? Oh yeah. 5 + 8 = 4. Like, I don't even count the same anymore because I understand that 8 + 5 = 13 and 1 + 3 = 4. So this is how I'm adding the numbers up together, but it starts to mess you up. So quite literally, yes, you do quite reinvent the wheel in a really strong sense of the game, but I appreciate you so much for being patient with me on that. Jamie, you're up next.
Hi. One thing you did well was, just one? Okay. I really liked the energy that you kept the whole time, sharing your excitement and just delivering this information in such an inspiring way.
Thank you.
We really appreciate that.
I'll be fair, I do this all day long. So for me doing 3 hours, it's like no big deal because I got sessions before and after. So I'm like in the flow, but I appreciate you so much for that. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. One thing you could have done better. I don't know. I'm unsure. I didn't know necessarily what the first 3 numbers meant, like the 426 or whatever. I didn't know exactly what that meant versus the 786. And then just like after a while, I was putting it together, I think. So, those were my numbers from just my birth name. That like I was traveling on my life path. That was really the only question about looking at my things that I was like, what's exactly does that mean? And does that correlate with something on these numbers? Does that correlate with the 7 over here? That was,
Okay, so yeah, you were born with this number. So you were born with the analytical, the logical, the partnership, the connected, the strong and the sturdy. And then now you go into the meditative, the big boss level, and still the loving, caring mother-like vibe, but not with your middle name. So you may consider removing your middle name legally at some point in your life. Who knows? But you took a downgrade in your legal name change. Your front name is okay. But legally speaking, there's still something in there that says I lost my voice, or I didn't speak up the way I needed to, or I've lost a piece of myself. But Jamie Green kind of makes up for it. It superimposes over top. But there will come a time where you're like, yeah, I think I need to get rid of the Suzanne, or add a letter. That's fine. You could do something like that too.
So let me just really quickly. So Jamie Suzanne Henderson, it was solid, and then Jamie Suzanne Green gave me the downgrade.
But then Jamie Green gave you an upgrade.
Wow.
So it's like your old name was here, and then your new name went up and down. So now up front it's good, but down underneath there's an unsettled level of anxiety that shows up.
Oh my God. Okay. It's so real. That's so real. Okay. Great.
Cool. You're very welcome. Thank you. Okay, cool. So you're off the hook. Let's get into, I've got Nishay.
I was just talking, I have to leave. My sons are coming in the trailer door right now. But really quickly, your ability to see and flow authentically in your craft. And as far as a negative thing, kind of fast for me and my brain. But that's it. I mean, this has been awesome.
I appreciate you for that, and thank you for your patience for sure. You can take the replay and play it at 0.5 speed. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I totally need to. Yeah.
But usually what happens is that it's such an overload of information, and since I'm so fluent in the conversation, I end up putting a lot out there, and I like to reinforce there is a replay, an audio version as well, so you will be able to go through it. I would definitely recommend that you do, but I appreciate that. I've always been so fast in my life, and even one of my mentors gave me a book that says, slow down, cool down. And I'm like, what are you trying to say? I'm like, I'm fine. I'm like, no, you need to stop doing that. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Nishay, for that. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, we'll see you soon. Okay, how about Jill?
Yeah, hi. I would say something that really meant a lot to me and I felt you were strong on was your connection with each of us. And you really made me feel just, like I said, connected. You're very personable, and I appreciated that.
Thank you. Okay, give me some feedback that can help me grow.
Well, I too was on the different numbers after we worked on the names. I wasn't sure how you figured out what they meant. You know, like some were down in the lower, but they were great, and some were up higher and they weren't so good, and some were really good. That confused me a little bit.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, you ever go to like, I remember in high school where in drama class, there was that room where it had all the different outfits that you could put on, and then like you could dress up in all of them. You kind of get to know them a little bit. And through my app, I've tried to map this conversation out, but it's still, like every one of these, you know, like if I pull this up just to share with you, each one of these names is like a full on like half a page paragraph, huge about information. And it's just, you end up having to recognize like red and blue equal purple, or red and white equal pink. So to understand how it goes inner in that finer nuance, it's tough to do, especially when there's so many of us and we're approaching 3.5 hours. I get a little anxious to think that I'm taking up so much of your guys' time. So I appreciate you so much for that feedback, and it really helps, but it should act as a precursor to the fact that there's more to this conversation than, you know, just quickly, it just doesn't do it justice when we just quickly go over it with a couple sentences. Just like you've got so much dimension to you. You know, that's why Noelle's like, 3 hours is not enough. You know, even she was saying that to me before. It's like, we have to work more together because there's so much more to this, and there is so much more to you. So I appreciate you picking up on that for me.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay. So I had Jamie, I had Kayla. Okay, Liz, how are you?
Yeah, I kind of mirror that really. Your knowledge, your energy, feeling valued and feeling appreciated. Really, really appreciate that. Appreciate you. And yeah, also the fast. So that's where the recording is going to come in. And yeah, it was the numbers that for me, the 336 and the 156. So it's just like trying to constantly grasp what's that. So could you just quickly tell me again what those mean for me?
Okay, so simply put, this one is sweetheart, darling, the loving little vibration of a sweet girl that just doesn't want to grow up and just wants to have fun. And then Liz X Watkins says, I want to grow up. I want to be a powerful woman. I'm fierce as well, and I'm not afraid to lead. I'm not afraid to fight. So it really combines this 6 from your sweetie name and the 1 and the 5 from your powerful juggernaut birthday. And it really puts them together to think now the 2 can come back in together. So it's a nice way of combining that passionate alpha energy with the loving, caring, connected vibration of woman.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's great.
You.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So how about Magdalena A. Selevska? Welcome. Okay, I'm going to unmute you.
So I appreciated your clarity and your energy as well.
Thank you.
And as far as one thing for improvement, I felt like I needed a little bit more time one-on-one because I didn't get a chance to ask you if you have any suggestions for my Instagram handle or a website because I haven't set that up yet, and I'm at a point I'm probably going to do it now. So it would be great time to have ideas.
Okay, I would probably want something like this for the Instagram, but if you want to hang out, I won't end the call without us. Okay, so if you want, we can go over this a bit. I'll just get some feedback from Matthew and Elizabeth and Noelle, and then after that, we can go back in. And I don't mind to continue on for anyone else who has other questions, because otherwise we have to connect privately. But I want to respect everybody's time. But I don't want you to feel like we were rushing over top of you. And I think that we may end up having a bit more of that open space to really like zone in on a couple of those words. Especially if you're going to do the Instagram thing, we could come up with something pretty cool. You could even do like Liz goes Lizbert 375. We could add numbers as well in case you're feeling like you want to use a combination. But is that okay do you have the time for that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we'll definitely come back to you before the call is over. How about Matthew and Elizabeth? Get you unmuted.
How's that?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I loved your enthusiasm and just how you were just right on about
Thank you.
so many things. And yeah, I still am like, my mind is just all the numbers. I'm not really a numbers person.
It's a lot to process.
So I just feel like it's a lot to process for sure. And I'm still like confused about my 2 names and like the U Bloom 2, about how that's really was good, but now Liz Hammond is there. Like I'm confused.
Yeah, we could also be playing around with Liz Hammond or Liz Ann or Liz Medor or something other as well. So there are other ways to play with Liz too, in case you're open to a different level vibe. But the ones we have now, they're very authentic. So like usually when I go in, I'm like, I want to find the letter that I can wear that I don't have to feel weird about. So if you want to hang out with me too, I don't mind to come back to you after Magda.
Okay.
Cool. How about Matthew?
Bobby, so, I was a bit skeptical about how the community aspect, I love the community, right? But I was like, how is this going to work with all these people? And it actually was so pleasantly surprising that it actually was an enhanced experience. And the way you facilitated it between all of us, because I learned so much through others' charts and the way we were reinforcing each other, it was really exponential. I think that's the word, right? it's one thing to do it for yourself, but then when you're in the midst of the community, and these are, we're all working together on one level or another. So to get to know other people as well that's in our tribe, it's pretty powerful.
Thank you.
And you know what, my complaint, I just want to know more. I'm so damn curious. This is a good tease.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's a bit of a teaser. Yeah. Really, especially like looking at a power couple chart to go into it in depth, especially even just yours. It's such a bigger conversation, and that's why I didn't want to tease too hard. I'm like,
you were awesome. I'm kind of jesting here, but yeah, you definitely you've got me really curious, because I get this sense. I feel like you nailed everyone. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's uncanny.
It makes you really wonder, what is life, guys? Like, really, like, if I can do this and I've never met you all before, there must be something greater that we're uncovering. And now that we know, we have to do better. We have to know.
We don't have an excuse, do we? We have this.
Well, numbers have always been really big in our relationship.
Yeah.
Like, we met on the 19th.
Yeah, we met on January 19th. I mean, we had our first date on 1/19. How about that?
There you go.
And then like we'd see numbers around, or like our name, like certain signs. Numbers have always been really big.
That's awesome. I'm glad that, and I even saw it inside of your charts together. I'm like, hey, you guys, something bigger going on here.
Yeah, it was
you guys found each other for sure. I appreciate that. Stay into the conversation. I did a men's alignment. Okay, the replay is available as well too, and the women's alignment's happening next 2 weeks from now. And the parent alignment will be for you guys, for all of the parents out there. It's a free call. So
it's really generous. Thank you. Appreciate your energy and time.
Yeah, and I'll also add you guys to the contest for the app, because you guys are using it. So we'll definitely see there. But I do teach this information. So it's a 4-day course, like 2.5 hours to 3 hours each day. And we basically go 1 to 9, A to Z, every single thing, how to add. And, I help you guys figure out how to become numerologists as well. So just in case that ever comes up for you guys, for sure, would love to share that with you all for sure. Okay, cool. And then Noelle, thank you so much for being here. My fly on the wall, but more like more than just that, of course. Your energy you've been holding for us. You've gone through this experience with us as well. Would love to know your feedback. One thing I've done well and one thing I can work on.
Oh yeah, I think that you have you're so facile with the technology. You're like it's a really deep understanding that you have. So it feels like it feels like a mastery. Like, it feels like you're talking about these things and you're like living in these numbers. So yeah, I mean, the app is great, and I'm totally aware that I need someone to guide me with the technology who lives inside the numbers. And then to improve, I think maybe I flustered you. Did I fluster you with all my peanut gallery comments?
You helped me quite a bit. You actually,
did I? Okay.
You were speaking a lot of the power in there. So thank you for helping express an extra level of communication. So no, that's not, you definitely flustered me.
Okay, good. Yeah. I don't have any complaints. Yeah, I think that part of it is that it's actually such a the technology can go anywhere in your life to create alignment. And so if there's like mystery or confusion around it, it may be that anyone on this thread has lingering questions. It may be that you need to go deeper, because I did actually, I had I bought the 3 hour, and we had 1 hour per week for 3 weeks. And I feel like I could buy another set of sessions, because I felt like every time I talked to you, I became more deeply aligned in really like an intrinsic, really not intrinsic, but profound ways. So I have so much guidance and direction on key areas of my business and my personal life, actually, that I didn't have before.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And you're a lot of fun too.
You too. No, you and I are friends. We're already buddies here. So I appreciate you so much for being on the call.
Yeah,
It'd be
that
cool.
was fun. Actually, how many? Four of the people on, five of the people on this call are on my team. So that was really fun to share this. I think
Awesome.
there's only one person on our team who wasn't on this call, and maybe we can get her to come on next week. That's Allie. She's the only one. Oh no, I've got two other new team members, so we've got three. Maybe we can get them to come on next week.
So yeah, you're probably going to need your own group session coming up pretty quickly now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's absolutely awesome. And it's great because now, just to for you guys to pre-frame this for all you leaders in here, watching replay or otherwise, like Noelle's business just got like 4 or 5, however many people just now took on alignment. So now you're going to have a lot more of a hands-free attitude towards these people because they're going to be self-empowered and empowered into their own energy. So their alignments are directly affecting yours. So
yeah,
it's powerful just to see that you're here.
Yeah. And just to add one last thing, was so interesting when you gave me the name adjustment. My name went from feeling like this very inert thing, like not energized, which is very interesting because I'm actually not really a numbers person. Maybe I can reframe that. I have this limiting belief that I'm not a numbers person. And when I saw this realignment with my name, something which I knew intuitively wasn't vibrationally aligned, I now had like the scientific explanation, the mathematical explanation for why it wasn't aligned. And when you did that alignment, I not only did I understand that numerologically it made sense, in my body it made sense too. So there was an intuitive kind of a shining up that happened, you know, like a spiritual shining up, an energetic shining up that occurred. So really, yeah, that very lot of value that you provide.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Cool. Okay. Well, I am full of love and full of heart from you guys. I appreciate you so much for everything. It's been an absolute epic honor. Before we close out, you guys are more than welcome to stay and hold space for Magda and Liz if you guys want to. I'm going to keep the recording going so that everyone gets a chance to see this and have this. But Magda, if you want, what I'll do is I'll unmute. Actually, let's go back in. If you want to, I'll unmute you, and then let's talk about this because you were saying here, you were saying here that you're about to start your Instagram. So, and then Jill says, I would like to find out about my IG too. Okay, so Jill will come into you as well. But Magda, I've got you unmuted. So let's talk about where we want our new name.
So I think I'll go with Magdalena A. Sulewska. I think I feel better about it, especially that you said there's just more power to it. So I'm like, I might as well go with more power then.
Okay. Now, this is a fair warning. Law of attraction. It's not a game. This isn't a spiritual, I wish I can if I believe I can, and your thoughts become things. This is a quantum physics and mechanical understanding of electromagnetism. So when you hold vibrations that are extraordinarily at the top, it's expected of you, if you're going to live to that vibe, that you're going to have a no-limit wealth conversation, a feeling of absolute decidedness towards your time, that you are not going to take no for an answer. And if no comes up, I'm talking to the wrong person. And it's just like, I got to go. And that feeling there will have a very strong, very powerful feeling inside of this. So it's more about the price that you pay and the thing that you have to leave behind. Just taking a quick peek, your name here also has double 8s in it. So you do already experience this overload of magnetic vibration that is being challenged by the lack of voice. The 7 is like, I want to express this so bad. I have to express this so bad. And now that we're like, okay, this is the power that I feel. This is what I need to have. We have a very strong connection towards that. So I'd probably say that get ready and keep me close. Because if things suddenly break apart or fall apart or everything comes crashing down, the analogy I look at is it's like Lego pieces. They all break down to their finite small pieces, but the magnetism of you, it's like, oh, I'm getting a new instruction booklet now. I'm going to build a bigger structure. Now that I've got all this stuff together, I'm no longer going to be trapped by my own voice. Now I speak for the planet. And that could mean a little bit of that anxiety could show up, or a feeling of, I haven't done this before. Ugh. And those numbers 412 and your birthday could rear its head again and be like self-worth, limiting belief, challenge here, challenge there, I don't know, communication gap. And the Magdalena A. Selewska is like, no, I'm going to do it anyway. I will learn. I will figure it out. There is no more quit. There is no more failure. This is ultimate extreme power. And the same energy that would take you to another planet could also end up exploding in our faces if we don't have the right infrastructure around it. So your health, your diet, your meditation, journaling, waking up early, going to sleep early, making sure that you're serving other people. You know, you hang around people who are making millions of dollars, and you identify yourself, and you have this picture of you that's like inside of your ultimate wealth. I'm pulling from your 7 here. Like, you have to go into that vision of your massive level of wealth and really understand it in a powerful place. So, you know, no kidding around. Like, this is like stuff I'd be saying to you inside of a private session. If you take that large level number, you have to be sure that you're ready to pay that price, because it'll ring you out. And if you're going to take that on Instagram, let's get ready to see a sincerely powerful looking Instagram, and be ready for a year worth of, I'm not there yet, or I'm not expressing that level of power, that level of worth yet. It could happen. So just so we know. And if that didn't scare you off and you're like, yes, finally.
I'm ready. No, what you said about the voice is, you nailed it on the head. I need my voice, and that's exactly what I need. And if this is gonna bring me the voice, that I'm on.
I'm not sure if anyone else has noticed, but your voice has changed a lot since you even taken the name. When we were first talking about it, it was deep back in its C, and now it's just like your eyes are big, and you're like, and you're already starting to identify in it. So just so we know, it is actually working really well. Cool. Any other questions?
So for website, would you just keep myname.com, magdalenaselewska.com?
Yeah, because it's at 7, right? So let's just try it, and let's just see what we got. So we're gonna go Magdalena, SULESKA, and then we had www.com. It works. So because the name didn't work there, with www.magdalenaselewska.com, it works. www.com. Those two in combination will work. How about
no A, right?
No A. How about just .com? No. So for your website, you'll be doing www and then magdalenaselewska.com. Okay? So it shows up like this, 358. And we're going to take a look at it here. And we'll go like this, and it looks good. Also one here, we'll go and put it in the green, so that you understand that it's going to be okay. It'll work really well, and it's not a bad looking vibe. So you've got an exception. Your domain already works. Oops, sorry, I misspelled it. MagdalenaSelewska.com. Magdalena. Oh man, I really messed it up. MagdalenaSelewska.com, like that, right? That's how you spell it. That would be the way to show up. You don't need to take the A, but you have to put both of them, www.com, over top of it.
Okay.
Looks good?
And for Instagram, Magdalena A, or
it's easier to do depending on how you're going to show up. If you want to spread this, if you want to like spread the spread, you go, what was the other one we had? It was
Magda V.
Magda V. So, or Magda D, Magda M, that would work, but it's also going to be confusing your audience. So I'd probably say that if you're going to do that, it's for a specific strategy. I would probably say either could put this on your Instagram, or just put this on your Instagram and strike through everything. Be a boss, be a boss. Don't just be a boss here and be fun here. With the exception of your webpage, at least it attracts a larger crowd. Then you start to separate the big juggernauts from the, I'm just playing around. And this is, you have the ceiling to experience massive levels of wealth. Will you build that high? And if you've been seeing it, like, you're psychic in a very strong way. So let's just pay attention to the fact that you're a seer. Have you been able to see that level of success? And this is it. This was the one. This is the click I needed. If that's the case, then yes, you picked the right name.
Okay, great. Thank you. So either one will work with Instagram. Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
I probably try to use them both just to keep that even spread.
Use them both?
I would try. Yeah, I would say my Instagram handle, Magdalena A. Selewska, my name, and then on the website right underneath, www.magdalenaselewska.com. How come I keep messing that up? Sorry. Oh yeah, we fixed it. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's how it would look like.
Yeah.
Cool. Sweet.
Awesome. Thank you.
Very awesome. Very welcome. Okay, let's hop to Liz, and then we'll hop to Jill, just because that was the order that we had in there. And then Kayla says, thank you so much. We'll have to get to a meeting, catch a rest and replay. I'll send it in a group message so that we can let the next team see what they're up for. And just in case anyone's like, because there's a lot of people in there, and only a third of you guys showed up. So we had a chance to show them that this exists. So what I'll do is we'll pull out Liz, if you want to unmute yourself, and let's create some solidarity around this. So here you are. Hello. And just to answer just to put me back on track here, what's the part that feels uncertain, or where do we want to go with your time here?
I was just I wasn't really sure like which name would be better for me, and then the You Bloom too, like, because you put Liz A. Hammond for a business name. Were you just putting those side by side just so I could look at both of them and feel both of them out, but not take away You Bloom too?
Yeah, see, You Bloom, this is an interesting thing, because like you'll see Balazs will have a business page that says Balazs W. Cardos, and then underneath it he has an arm that says Global Prosperity Movement. So there are two separate places. So for you guys on a business fan page, when you show up to a client or a lead, first things first, I would say that you should use a name and not You Bloom too. But if you start showing up and you say, well, I'm Liz and I'm Matthew, welcome, this is You Bloom too, and you can start to identify that as your business child is You Bloom too, but it should not be the identifier of how your lead sees you for the very first. It's like at a party. You wouldn't introduce yourself as You Bloom too, but you would say, this is my husband Matthew, I'm Elizabeth, nice to meet you, we represent You Bloom too, that's our project. And then it's a really good conversation topic, because it's all about you bloom too. Like, you can bloom as well. Like, I get it. It speaks for itself right away. It gives people a feeling of, oh, okay. Like, it's like a gardener that really wants to grow their orchard. Okay, so the vibration is strong. So I wouldn't mess with You Bloom too, but I did use the space because it was just You Bloom too twice over. So just in case you wanted to take a look at that. And you have a support system with Matthew S. Hammond to run a vibration of Liz A. Hammond. But now you're considering two separate paths. One that says, I will speak, and I want to speak loudly and powerfully. And the other one that says, I will wait to speak, but when I speak, I only need to speak once. So there.
Tell me what you told me.
I feel like I have been, I'm ready to like speak, because I just feel like I have not, like, I've just always been quiet, and I'll speak like when I really need to speak. I'm already that way.
So if you want to make money doing that, then Elizabeth A. M. Hammond. And if you're like, I don't want to do that anymore, I don't want to be that anymore, because it hasn't been working. And now I'm like, well, it could work, Elizabeth A. M. Hammond, and it's a lot easier on everyone and everything, yourself included. But if you're ready for the big conversation that says, I'm ready to break, I want to go back down to my pieces, I want to put my law of discipline in order, I'm ready to be a wizard. And then we just have to make sure that you don't get caught doing things like, oh, it's okay. And like, I'll look at your numbers being like, no, fine. You guys can have it. This one's like, no, I want some too. I'm ready to take some too. Like, I want it. I'm going to, and that feeling that I am too vibe is really wanting to come forth. The Elizabeth A. M. Hammond is like, it's all good. I have some coming for me anyway. Like, I'm not really too worried about it. It's going to work. I've been running this vibe and now it works. Or this is like, no more. No. Now I want my power. and I really want to step into it. And, you know, again, you have the support energetically from a number like this from your husband. So I'm not feeling too, you know, like it's not bad to take it. And it's also authentic. So it's not like you're really stretching out from anything. Like, this is easy. And if people are like, oh, I already know you as Liz anyway. So it's not a bad vibe to run with. You'll kind of know by the end of 2020, really. I would say don't take it and 3 months later change it again. Facebook won't let you change it for 60 days. So if you're going to run with a vibe like that, you know, go forth in power. May the force be with you. This is massive.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the Liz A. Hammond seems really powerful.
Yeah, I resonate more with that than I do Elizabeth A.M. Hammond.
That's enough. If you're like, ooh, resonance, I resonate, and that's like the vibration flows through you. And if you're like, Elizabeth A.M. Hammond, Liz A. Hammond is like less syllables. It just kind of slaps in really, really big. But then at the same time, go easy on Matthew, because this is like power mode on.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, it's okay to round those edges, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely go easy on him. And at the same time, go easy on her. She may be more, you may be like, hello, are you in there? She's like, Liz is gone. Liz A. Hammond now. Like, you refer to me as the queen. And so like there's like a massive level of power that disconnects you from love in a big way. So to have the support system of Matthew S. Hammond's like, don't worry, babe, I got it. I got date nights. I got this taken care of. You need to express your power right now. And so just in case that's the feeling, just to be fair.
Yeah, she's due. She's so due. I feel it.
Yeah, I'm due.
There you go.
Sure.
Yeah. While we got you here, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure, yeah.
So I was trying to understand the Matthew Sinclair Hammond, which
it's purple and mastery.
is a mastery.
No, sorry. It's this is why it's messed up, because it just speaks for 9. So it's made these two columns are to denote 1 to 9 for me. So I know life path 9, name path 9, name path 9. So it's more like my own code. I got to figure out a different color scheme because I recognize that they double over. So yeah, it's
so
not.
What is it actually? What is my given name? What does it represent then?
Given as in Matthew or Matthew Sinclair Hammond?
The Matthew Sinclair Hammond.
So this part here is going to say like charging, and then the 4 says like stable, and then the 9 says don't stop. So this is like built like a car for the Autobahn. Like you can go fast. There's no brakes. It's not going to break, and it's going to exhaust you. And the only way to brake is to crash into something. So it's not the easiest thing to take, because once you get locked in on something, you don't let go. And so there can be that stubborn feeling. This is like a train, or like that Keanu movie Speed. Like, you know, this doesn't want to stop, otherwise it'll explode. So it's not easy, because we know that your passion is dedicated, committed, and in there, but it could just be that the 9 just goes off forever. And like we say, you'll pass the bank, and it's like, I need to stop there. It's like, no. And then it's going to give you that distaste for material worth that says, I work harder for others than I do for myself. And then the haunting of your label came back in. You were like the hardest working person at the desk, and everyone else is getting their shit produced, and you're like, oh, so it's supposed to be for me. And it just can't, because there's that lack of ego that comes to the self. So your big heart is coming to kick you in the butt now. It's like it's too much loving of others. And is there such a thing? The lack of an ego is just as challenging as having too much of one. Because if you can't identify yourself, it'll just be like, I don't see myself in the mirror. And that's not easy. So
huge ego, but I think I try to keep it in check.
Well, that's the January. And you know, that's a strong, solid sense of self. You'll use it in your humor or your candor. It's nice to have. You know, I'm born on a 1 day, so we know who we are. Yeah. But then at the bigger, deeper level, I got a problem with my materialistic worth and wealth, and I feel like I'm not worthy of it. And that's where the ego comes to beat us up. And you know, to be fair, you had that up until 27, so it's solidified a level of your identity. But it's not something that you use while you're in the middle section right now.
So I had that up until 27. I had that.
Your microphone's a bit muted.
Is that better?
Yep.
So I had what up until I was 27?
So these three numbers, I'm sorry I didn't explain this properly earlier. These three numbers are corresponding to three paths that you hold in your life, the three chapters.
Your epoch, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, so you're, I've heard of it called that before. They're also called minors or chapters.
Okay.
But yeah, the epoch would be a good way of explaining that. But the first piece is you're growing. The second piece is you're stabilizing. The third piece is your wisdom. So you're either learning, doing, or teaching. And so there's different phases for us to go through. It's something that we really get into in a personal one-on-one. Yeah, but just so we know.
Yeah. So just taking the Sinclair and reducing it down to an S, it makes all the difference.
Yeah, legally speaking, I wonder if that's enough for you. Like, I don't feel like it would. I feel almost as if there's something bigger for you. Just seeing as you're going into a 6 and a 9, which is mastery. So if she's going to go into 898, I'd like to think that there's something there for you as well. But I can try to play with it. If you want, we can see if there's something in there. But that was the authentic version. So if we go Matthew and then Sinclair Hammond, let's just try something here. Let's go Matthew Hammond, and then would be like EN or EW. And I probably wouldn't think Matthew U Hammond would work. But Matthew EN or NE would be the one that would move you to a 966, which is literally the component that Liz A. Hammond would need. So, just to see that there. What about another one, which shows that Matthew Sinclair Hammond, and then from there we would take the UC or UL, but now we're taking two letters, so it's not as easy to run that. How about just Matthew Sinclair? Then we have a really solid vibe. Matthew B. Sinclair, K. Sinclair, or T. Sinclair. Also could be AJ, Matthew A.J. Sinclair, or Matthew S.A. Sinclair. Just to be fair, those are kind of the way that they show up. How about A.A. Sinclair? Yeah, double A. But that's weird as well, too. So it's tough to take a second letter. But and we don't open it up if we don't use Matt, and I'm not trying to make you use Matt either. So it's totally up to you. However you want to.
Yeah, no, you've given me some things to chew on, and I think we'll have to do a personal session.
How about, can I even just try Mateo Sinclair? Let's just see if there's.
Why not?
Why not, right?
I can have 4 names.
Yeah, and then how about Hammond? I would definitely be putting the X or Z. So Matthew Sinclair, Mateo Hammond. It's just long. It's and then you need a letter as well. So 4 words and an initial. But at least Matthew S. Hammond, it works really well. It'll maintain your level of humility and being humble, but it also gives you that sense of self-deserving. Like, I've worked for this, and I'm not afraid to take what I'm truly owed and deserved. You build something, and you have a result, and that's a good thing. And it'll be even better because that number is like, let me help you build something, and then I'll take the trimmings. It's nice because Enagic is that way. They get paid first. You get whatever's left. So it's not a bad way to keep your ego in check in case you're feeling that, like, do I deserve this vibe? Leave that for Liz A. Hammond. She's like, I deserve it. Trust me, I'm ready to take it. Let's freaking do this. And then you guys come in together, one from the top, and then Matthew from the support beam, and then you Bloom 2 comes into the front force. So it's not a bad look, not a bad feel.
All right, thank you.
Why does the black say severe challenge?
Because it's a severe challenge. Like, it's going to rip everything out of you. And sometimes we see, like, if we look at Nishay, she's not here anymore. That's actually what that shows up as. Magdalena, it's actually this as well, too. So I know it's a little sharp, but it goes in the positive or the negative. Like, it'll break everything. And then from that, you rebuild. So if you've got the audacity to do so, I'd say, yes, absolutely. I never thought I'd use that, but Balwan Francisco, my first name and my middle name, it's also a 988, so I actually have it. So I can't quite remove it.
It's you can't escape it.
Yeah, it's something you have to deal with. And so like the way Matthew Sinclair, it shows up literally like the word God. So we have to recognize that there's a deeper level power but as a human being, you may want to exist in both realms. So it's not a bad way to look.
Awesome.
Cool.
Wow. Okay.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you guys. It's funny. The first experience I had of you two was a picture of you with Brooke, Elena, and
Noel, right?
And I'm like, well, there's a power set of leaders, and like I didn't know you guys yet, and now that I see it, I'm like, it fits. So you guys are the next power couple. You're gonna make a big team.
Thank you.
I appreciate you guys for sure for being
Thank
here.
you. We're looking forward to working with you more. Appreciate it.
Heck yeah. Okay, Jill, you're up. Let's do this. Matthew and Liz are amazing, right? Okay, cool. So if we want Jill, if you don't mind to unmute yourself.
I just wanted to say I'm really excited for Matthew and Liz. It sounds wonderful.
Yep.
Really cool. And I got some answers to a couple of my questions with their talk with you. So that was awesome too.
Nice.
I already have an Instagram account, and it would not take my name, so I had to put in this weird little thing. It's JILLFF2J. That is my handle.
FF2J, like that. Okay.
Where did you put it?
Oh, right by your name.
Yes, like that.
Right. Let's go and say Jill FF2J. FF2J. Yeah, it's one of these yellow numbers. So if we do that, it's not inspiring someone to be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if you were to put 22J, that would work. You put 4J, that would work as well. That would be much easier to deal with.
Okay.
Just in case you were to do that, I would say that would be my idea for you. And then then it goes into a 966. And this is, again, in line with that queen level energy. And we've got a really, where am I? Like this and like this. A queen level energy as a handle. You just don't want to, I know this is weird. This is strange. And it's thinking, really, is this going to make a difference? Balaj does this to me every day. He's like, what about this? What about this? What about this? He's like, I don't mess around with this, man. Like, this is massive. Cameron George does this to me too. So I work with the top guys here talking about this, and I know that we don't miss anything. So we want to make sure all things, even my ads, sentence by sentence, are like numerologically aligned. I wish I could talk with numerological alignment, but I like to use words like wealth and currency instead of words like money, cash, or business. Those are dead words. But if you use wealth, currency, value, those are words that have expansive power. If you say money, it's done. If you say cash, it's spent. If you say business, it's like wheeling and dealing, right? Like it doesn't actually hold value or wealth. So currency, like those are big level words. So just so we kind of extra little.
Yeah, I kind of feel like sometimes I have a little difficulty communicating what I'm wanting to get across, or I just have so much in my head that I can't just get it all out there.
Jill Fortman v. Francis, it's much more expressive, but Jill Leslie Fortman, Leslie Fortman Francis, or Jill Francis, it was like cut, go into the like two magnets put in the wrong direction, and that's not fun because you are very magnetic in your value. There is a strong value of massive unloading levels of wealth. So this may not take very long to kick in, but the conversation is going to start to change.
And you would put the @ in front of it, or that's just what happens?
That's your Instagram. So it would be like, that's your @ symbol.
Okay.
So, instead of the name, you'd still show up Jill Fortman v. Francis. That would be the way to show up there. And then you did want to shorten it, Jill J. Francis or Jill L. Francis. That's what we were looking at.
Okay.
But yeah, cool.
Fantastic.
Any other questions?
No, I think that's it.
Sweet. Guys, I think that's it. This has been epic.
Thank you so much for the time that you've given us.
You're welcome. Absolutely. Yeah. Jamie, you're unmuted.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Of course you can.
Thank you. I'm trying to figure out what to do for my Facebook URL because it's actually Jamie Lynn Green, which was my stage name, which turns out to be not good. And also had another question about my Instagram. My name is Jamie Green on my Instagram, but my handle, it's like Jamie_Green.
Underscore is okay.
Okay.
If you need to add something to a username and you don't want to mess it all up, 9 or 0. Okay, so or 09 or 90 or anything that adds up to a 9. So in case you wanted to not mess things up and you're like 18 or that would be the way to do it, or 00. So just in case you wanted to keep the vibe working the way it is, but if you want it, because your Facebook handle, it'll just be like Jamie Green 000 or Jamie Green 0 or Jamie Green 999 or even 09.
Yeah, it's just the URL. I had, Jamie Green wasn't available, so I used my stage name. I'm an actor. My SAG name is Jamie Lynn Green. So I just used that, and that is not good, right?
Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean, sad name. Is that like you're a sad actor?
SAG, the union.
Okay, yeah.
Union. It's my SAG, like my stage name.
Yeah, okay, so Jamie Lynn, Lyn.
Yeah.
So 1 N?
Yep.
If you had 2 N's, it would work, but that's not your stage name anymore. So but Jamie Lynn Green, no. If it's a username, again, do we split hairs? Yes, we do. We go into everything. So in case you want to put a 0 or a 9, you could do that. You could also do Jamie B Green, T Green, or K Green. So just in case you wanted to put the letter there, because those showed up, so you could use a BK or T. But in case you want to use a handle or a username, 099909099090, anything that won't mess up the vibe,
got it
for you.
Okay, and I have one more question, and it's a little bit of a deviation maybe from what you do, but the numbers that I have resonated with in my life, have you ever heard of the book The Life You Were Born to Live by Dan Millman?
Yes, I haven't read it though.
Okay, so it's also a numerological, obviously it's based on numerology, and you just add up your birthday, but you don't go all the way down to the 2. It's like my numbers finish at 29/11, right? So it's like the numbers that I have always felt like I've been resonating with and working with are 29/11.
Can I just double check that? So let's just go and let's just see what this looks like. What's your birthday again?
August 30th, 1980.
Okay, so we'll go there, 1980. And it does show up in a long form version as well. So the way that I read it is like this. So 8 plus 3 plus 9 equals 20. So I'm not sure. Oh, I get it. So 8 plus 3 plus 1 plus 8 plus 9 plus 8, that equals 29. So there is a way to understand this as a life path 11. So just so you know, there is 2, 11, 29, 20, 20. Yeah. So there are different ways to come up with it. In this case, when I see the 20, there is a spiritual level mastery that shows up like the 29. Like before, I was like, oh, add the 0 or the 9, the 0 or the 9. And so in the case you're looking at your number 20, 29 will also come back to 2. And you're like, how does that work? Because 29 then goes into 11, and 11 then goes into 2. So the 0, and it's funny in numerology, for a long time, the Chaldeans never even recognized the number 9 because it was so universally powerful. It was like this godlike number because it was invisible. Take any number, 1 to 10, 1 to 9, and keep it in your head. I got mine. I add 9 to it. Okay, so that number plus 9. And then the new number, if you add it together again, it's the same number as you started with. Like 5 plus 9 is 14, 1 plus 4 is 5 again. So it's like an invisible number. So that's why it would show up that way. But when we see that 0, it's a completion number. It's a godlike feel. So there's still a level of mastery inside of your chart. It'd be fun to read your written report. I won't do that. I'll just prepare it for you. But to know that that's there would be a good idea to understand. And yes, depending on whether you're Ayurvedic numerology, Japanese numerology, Indian numerology, there's Chaldean, there's Pythagorean,
This is Pythagorean, it says, so supposedly.
Yeah, see, what I do is a hybrid between Pythagorean and Chaldean. So what I've learned, I've never seen before, but after I finished my learning, I started to pick up stuff like this. So what I send you is full-on Pythagorean, but in a very, very deep level. So just you're reading in what I send you. But good call. I got to get that book, The Life You Were Meant to Live by Dan Millman.
The Life You Were Born to Live.
The Life You're Born to Live. Thank you. I will absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you. I will the 9, and hopefully that'll work in my Facebook URL. And underscore will work for Instagram, which is great.
Cool. Yeah, and the underscores, they don't hold a numerological value. Guys, book your session in with me. Please do this. Honestly, I tell you, it will not be time wasted. And I will definitely be there for you, whether it be 60 minutes, 90 minutes, or a full-on 3-hour session. I don't do it in one go. It's 3 different times we meet. But I'll give you guys discounts on the payment plan if you need to take time with it, or just the one-time payment price. You just let me know. And other than that, do me a huge favor. Let people know, whether you're watching this live, you watch the replay, what just happened here. And like that we just experienced power today, because now you guys are walking with alignment. So I appreciate you guys so much for this. It's been absolutely amazing. I appreciate you guys so much. And you're part of my family now. So give me a couple hours to get all your stuff ready, prepared, and then I will invite you into my groups as well. And then the real show begins. Let's go build your teams. Let's go work with your entrepreneurs. Let's create your success. Stop it. Don't tell me that you're not good enough anymore. Don't say stuff like that. You're putting, now that you have 8s in your names, that shit means something. So you can't, now you can say things that I remember when I used to say that. I'm working on it. I'm growing. I'm going to be better. I'm better every day. And that's the conversation we want to have now. So thank you guys so much. And cool. I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye. See you soon.